Now, on their Instagram, the restaurant posted a story offering a reward of 100,000 yen per reviewer to anyone who would provide their personal details, track them down, or take action against them. I mean, how is the law not involved with this?
I know.
I'm not sure. From what I've read, Japan's laws around like stalking and harassment are pretty light. So unless anything physically happens, the cops usually don't get involved.
Oh, so if you want to be a stalker, move to Japan.
But yeah,
No harm,
you can
no
apparently
foul
put
is what
out
they're
a
called.
$1,000 bounty per reviewer.
You could, yeah.
Well, that's what 100,000 yen is. So that's we did that.
I've just got a feeling this place is going to go out of business.
Yeah, I wouldn't
I would think
rapidly.
so.
Yeah.
There's not a shortage of ramen shops in Japan.
I would imagine it's probably like burger joints in the U.S.
Yeah.
I
Barbecue
mean,
joints in the South.
I mean, if you would chase me down for a bad review, you probably also would spit in my food. So.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is not going to be good pub for this. Here is our embarrassing story of the day. A technology student is being mocked on Chinese social media for setting his dorm on fire while trying to hide his inflatable girlfriend when his roommate returned early.
Stock photo or actual inflatable
This is
girlfriend?
just a stock photo. I couldn't find a picture of the student, of the dorm room, or of the inflatable girlfriend.
Yeah.
So we don't even know if it was worth hiding.
This is like Wesley's booby trap stripper, right? You got the denim, you got the high boots. Is that a belly button ring on the inflatable doll?
It's a high belly button. That's what
I
it
think
is.
it's a belly button.
Yes.
Does the doll have an Audi belly button?
I
What
think
is
so,
this?
yeah. Lance is right. That is
You
what's
got to blow her up somewhere.
Now, being caught with your pants down, one thing, but one student couldn't stand the thought of being caught with an inflatable doll, so he decided to set fire to it. Now, therein lies the problem. According to the South China Morning Post on February 10th, student enrolled at China's Hefei University of Technology thrown into a panic after his roommate returned unexpectedly. Now, rushing into the hallway, the student tried to burn the doll, but ended up triggering the campus fire alarm, filling the dormitory with flames and smoke. Now, good news, no one was harmed in the blaze. The student was disciplined and faced the wrath of the internet for the embarrassing viral ordeal.
Yeah.
He's not going to live that one down, is
Probably
he?
going to have to change schools at that point.
Yeah. Hey, Tony, how hot was she? That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, if you're looking for your first or final home, our friends at Mortgage Right, they are the mortgage experts. They can help, no cost or obligation. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
All right, final thoughts today brought to you by our friends at Champy's Chicken as well. Champy'sChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Wonderfully priced, excellent food you get with Sterling and the crew there. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, great way to start with an appetizer. How about some fantastic Southern fried chicken that is brined overnight, cooked to order? You can't beat it. Champy'sChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Why it's different having the salary cap in the NFL that's different than the salary cap or whatever they have in the NBA. If Cooper Flagg was a college football player, at $5 million for next year, there'd be a good chance he'd come back and play college football again.
Because the rookie is lower, yeah.
The rookie
in the
minimum,
NFL.
those 4 years. And getting to that super max contract. Cooper Flagg could get $5 million easy to come back to Duke next year, but if he goes $60 million for 4 years and it gets you on the clock to that super max deal, which changes your life even more than that. So Bleacher Report says just the economics keeps Cooper Flagg from coming back again next year.
Yeah, and real quick point on the NBA, I just saw breaking news. Victor Wembanyama is going to be out for the rest of the season with a blood clot.
Yeah, in his shoulder.
Yeah.
Which is up in the, I'm no doctor, but that's in the heart-brain region. So extreme precaution there for Wemby, and he's done for the rest of the season. Just what the NBA needed was another one of their big draws not playing when they were hurting for TV ratings. And that is our show today. We're back with you tomorrow as we get ready for a major basketball weekend for Alabama as they play host to Kentucky, trying to get right at home against Big Blue. And Auburn with Georgia and everything else going on the countdown to madness in March. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter @ScottForresterTV. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show on a Friday as we get ready for another huge college basketball weekend. We'll jump into that. Some interesting conversations about the upcoming NFL draft, which will be here before you know it in April.
We got to start with whatever that loud thing is.
Let me get to it here real quick. And we'll get to Hockey Night in America, which Taylor, I think, was her first hockey game ever to watch. If I follow her on social media, Brown wore the flag. He's ready to jump in knee-deep in hockey as well. But I promised you I'd wear it one time. And this is the worst purchase of my life.
So it had to look nothing like that, as you said, right?
It was nothing like this on the TikTok shop. I didn't even know where I was buying it from. I knew it wasn't Fanatics. But it looked like this would be sewn on, these would be sewn on, and the letters on the back would be, first off, spaced properly,
right,
and sewn on. The worst part of this is the name on the back.
Okay, I've not seen that.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah, ready?
Yeah.
Done.
See the spacing?
Yeah,
Done
it is kind of
away.
Yeah, it is like the A is by itself.
You can tell it came from China because that's done. Oh, wait, it's three names probably.
That's right.
It's like an arts project or something.
Color's not right. First off, it looked like the creamsicle.
How many times have you worn it?
I wore it. This is the first time I've worn it in public. Technically, I got in my truck, in my driveway, drove to poker in the Veil of Darkness, got out and wore it the day after I got it for a poker event. Wore it home that night. Nobody saw me. This is the only time I'll wear it in public. It will set
there's a reason
where I keep
asked.
my blankets up in there's no return address. There's no label in this.
It's not for the shock value. It's
The factory's closed.
Pull your arms up like this. Look at how bally it is already, and he hadn't really worn it.
I can't see that.
Like, I can't wear something that's got the
I didn't notice that.
the worn down balls.
So
it looks like you've had that thing for 6-7 years.
That's just one wash. I told Forrester, fill this material. I like open flame.
Oh, if I flicked a cigarette on you.
Yeah.
It would be like a cartoon.
Human Torch.
It'd be like a cartoon. It'd go.
Yeah.
It'd go
You
away.
could direct traffic in that thing.
Yeah.
It's actually Virginia Tech colors.
Yeah, that's the whole
100%.
thing. Yeah, it's not really. And what really bothers me most about it is, number one, that color of the weird striping there is not a Tampa Bay color.
This?
Yeah, and it does.
Or this one. Neither color.
Yeah, and then you've got the flag, and the reds are nowhere close on the flag and the striping. And it's just
I
classic.
like how
So
the
is that
flag's off center too. Like
is
it's
the-
down by his stomach
Yeah.
instead
Oh,
of
yeah.
like up
Well,
here.
that may be me. As Maggie says, she would like a little more peck.
I thought the pewter on the flag was close. Is that seems like it's the
that's the
closest.
only thing that's
This
right.
is the closest
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
'Cause,
that's the only thing that's right.
because they stole this from U.S. copyrights.
Yeah, that was a cut and paste.
I bet Tyler is more in this space than we are, but the whatever the design is behind the flag looks like Transformers.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Well, that is what attracted me. The crazy,
Transformers?
the craziest pattern. Because I was like, Tampa Bay wasn't around in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. I see all these throwback Packers and
Yeah.
Steeler
the way
uniforms,
they
and I'm
used to-
like,
yeah.
well, this will be my throwback
Right.
weekend.
Yeah.
I'll wear this.
Yeah, the uniform we never had.
Jacked up. So this will set up, maybe not ever now, but I can't give it to anybody.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I didn't
So
even notice that.
there's.
That was the guy that wore it before you.
I'll give him a free shout out, but Lululemon, if you get that, you can take it back within a
starts falling
year.
up?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they'll just immediately
Yeah.
exchange it.
I would take
You know the
Lulu-
difference is Lululemon's in the Summit.
Yeah.
This came from Wuhan.
Oh yeah.
That's
I
right.
mean, it does not even have a label in it. There's no label.
So
Like,
you don't think they pay the NFL for
No.
for the rights to use that?
No, and it doesn't.
And they want to send a cease and desist. Where do you send it?
Yeah, I don't know.
What is the material? I don't know. There's no label. How do you wash it? I don't know. There's no label.
Well, you did it wrong.
I mean, there's a tag in it that has XL on it. That's it. XL.
Has your skin started flaking or itching?
Turn green.
I wear a long
Okay,
sleeve
yeah, I don't
T-shirt
blame you.
under it, and it's been washed twice now. Once when it came out of the
Might
bag.
be able to shit a bird after wearing that thing.
Yeah. So I wore it once. It'll sit in my sports room when when Maggie has the air conditioning too cold for the old guy.
That's one of those things that might be so loud it might start to grow on you a little bit.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, I don't
everything
hate
about it is.
Yeah.
I would have liked it if this was sewn on.
Right.
The colors were correct.
The colors are actual team colors.
They'd spaced out, done away properly on the back. I went 13 with, which looks sewn on, by the way.
Yeah,
But I knew when it was.
You went 13XL on that thing, too.
Yeah, I've lost 23 pounds since I ordered this. I ordered it in October for my own Christmas gift from the kids.
And you got it when?
Santa was going to put it under the tree. It came in end of January.
Yeah.
I love this was your own present that you sent to yourself, and it was a complete disaster.
Yeah. Well, see, and I thought it was under the tree on Christmas morning.
Right.
Like we kept opening things, and I was so fired up because I was going to
So
wear
you
it
were
that day.
underwheled by your own gift?
Oh yeah.
That's vintage
And by
dunaway
the
right
way,
there.
didn't even know my own gift had not arrived yet. I was like, there's got to be one more present.
Yeah.
For
Guys,
me.
is
And Maggie's
this
like,
everything?
We're done. We're done.
Yeah.
Everything's gone.
The worst is a disappointed kid because of what they got for Christmas.
Yeah.
You know me long enough. That's not the worst.
Dunaway.
Disappointed Dunaway's the worst because I talked about it all day long. I was like, can you find it? Here's the shipping order. Can you find it? Let me know where it is, why it's not here yet.
And it was in Wuhan.
Oh, it absolutely. I don't know if it was Wuhan specifically, but it was nowhere close to a major city in China. It had a dot sitting there, and it had not been packaged yet. And this was Christmas Day, and I'd purchased it in October. And 2 weeks later, I checked. It was still sitting in China. Eventually it showed
See,
up.
I think this would be more fun than y'all's mystery box.
What?
What,
on
just
the
ordering
meltdown.
random stuff off of TikTok shop?
Well, I think you take a picture of like something that is going to be kind of wild that you're going to order, and then you order it once a month and you see how close it actually is.
How does it match up? Yeah. Well, the problem is that's like a $5 shirt, and you probably did not pay $5 on TikTok Shop.
I think shipping and everything.
$100?
I think I dropped $120 on it, which I thought was a good deal.
Oh my gosh!
No, I did.
$120 on
I think
that?
it was $120. Maybe it was $119.99. So $120, we'll say.
They paid the kid that made that $3.
Oh, they did not take him
You
$3.
start to dice this up. I bet it took him a full day. He's not Buddy the Elf.
They did not pay him $3 though.
I'm
not saying it didn't take him a day.
It does look like they get teams like, okay, we got Virginia Tech and Tampa. They are close to the same colors. We'll just make one, and we'll use that for Virginia Tech and Tampa.
Oh, at some point in the show,
What's it more demand?
I mean, I would think Tampa, but I don't know.
At some point in the show, I will go through my social media because I'm wearing it and have talked about it. It will pop up. And the other teams, I mean, you would have seen the Steelers one looked fantastic. I'll show you the way it looks.
The way it looks and then the way it actually arrives is a little bit different. That would be a good bracket challenge in itself. You just have to wear that without an undershirt for a week.
We got a good suggestion on a bracket challenge in the chat the other day. Someone suggested that the loser has to go to every movie I go see for a month.
Ooh.
Jeez.
By the way,
I don't have the time.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And that would be a lot worse than what I did last summer. I'll go ahead and tell you.
Well, what'd you do last summer?
I went and made the 5 buckets.
No,
of
it would be
popcorn
worse,
arenas.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be much worse. I go see everything.
Okay, so like how many nights a week do you think you're at the movies?
Oh, gosh.
3?
4 to 5.
Yeah,
see,
well, that does not interest me at all.
I've got a thing they call a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and alive.
And alive. Now, if I'm losing the bracket bet, I can give up the life, but I can't give up the family.
Yeah, a month is a long time, dude.
I think it is on the table, though.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
not bad.
I
That's
think
not
the
bad.
mac and cheese challenge still needs to be out there too.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a punishment.
Yeah.
And neither does
I
Scott.
just don't-
Scott, weigh in on the mac and cheese challenge.
I mean, Every day?
I'll be honest. I just don't trust that everyone would do it every meal every day.
Mac and cheese is awesome. That's not punishment.
No, that is punishment.
Well,
You
but
gotta eat it
this
for
way,
'em.
with the movie challenge, you're filming a review with me
That's
every
right.
every
Yep.
video.
No. So that's
people can
got
keep
legs.
you accountable.
Yeah.
But I also think the mac and cheese, you would have the journal and the weight and all that kind of stuff. You guys think that would be easy? I think it'd be really
No,
difficult.
I think it'd be very difficult. You get tired of mac
And
and
who do
cheese.
you think wouldn't live up to their end of the bargain?
I just don't trust us that somebody would back out. I mean, I know you guys wouldn't trust me to eat every meal. I'm not sure I would trust you guys to
Well,
eat every
that's
meal.
why we document it, though, right?
Well, I mean, you can take a picture and then once that's taken or you video
Yeah,
it, you
but
slide
that's
it
like
to the side. And,
When I did
and
my
start eating a
trip
steak.
back west home and I had to do train and plane and automobile and all that kind of stuff, bus.
Yeah.
I could have said I was doing it, not do it.
Yeah, but you documented it. I mean, you could tell. I mean, you physically were under trained.
You were interviewing a witch.
Yeah, and you had Leighton. And, Leighton, 100% trust here.
I must have missed the mac and cheese episode of Fear Factor.
Oh, yeah, you were out. It was that Wednesday your daughter signed a letter of intent.
Yeah.
But we just kind of brought it up. Like, if you had to do mac and cheese 3 meals a day for 30 days, that's crazy.
It's a lot.
Anything for every meal. Even, I know you love Mexican food. I love Mexican food. But if you had to do that 3 meals every day for 30 days, it would get old. It would be tough. And 5 years ago, it would have been miserable for me because I hated mac and cheese 5 years ago. But my taste buds have changed. So mac and cheese, I'm like an 11-year-old now.
Yeah, but what
It's
if you just
good.
had to do the original, the OG Kraft mac and cheese in the box?
Yeah, my trailer park taste buds have changed.
I think the shaped mac and cheese noodles taste better. I think you get more surface area.
Oh,
for the
I agree with
cheese.
you on that. Yeah, I would agree with Tyler on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree too. But anyway, this will be the only time you see this on the show.
All right, congrats.
And maybe forever. This is the kind of sports gear that they get in third world countries when Tampa Bay loses the Super Bowl.
I love
They love it there.
And they just put the shield prominently right there on the neck.
Yeah. That's not sewn on either. There's nothing sewn on, right? It's all
There's
screened.
nothing sewn on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, but hats off. They put these these. By the way, these are just shoelaces. By the way.
Yeah, I can tell.
This doesn't
Yeah.
go all the way around. These are just cheap shoelaces.
Wait a minute. You can't even cinch the hood?
Oh no.
Where
I don't think
did
so.
where did the string stop?
Stop right here.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They're just shoelaces. Just this here for looks.
That's the cheapest part.
Hey, normally if you burn something, it's toxic. It's like black. If you burn that would be like different rainbow colors.
Yeah.
And it's no telling what that
If
thing
we
would burn
burn
out
that
like.
in the parking lot, I feel like we'd get shut down for like environmental reasons.
Yeah, I would
There's
agree.
no
Yeah.
Hazmat
way
would
that
show up.
is like made in a sustainable way.
Do you guys have running jokes with your wives, girlfriends,
Yeah.
No.
friends,
Significant others.
Yeah,
Tyler. The guy pouring the popcorn, guy taking tickets.
I think it's what's the old fraternity
Animal House.
Animal House.
Yeah.
I think it's Animal House. Was that where the old professor invites a couple of students over and they
Donald
drink and smoke
Sutherland,
pot?
yeah.
Okay. So the next morning he walks in and he's got like a sweater on and he reaches to get something
Yeah.
off the top shelf. He doesn't have anything on
Yeah.
underneath it. So I had seen that movie a long time ago. I thought that was hilarious. The old guy with no bottoms on. So occasionally I will walk into the kitchen
with the young couple.
Yeah, but I'll walk into the kitchen if Maggie's in there doing something, and I will reach to the top shelf with nothing on, and it would go whoop and show the backside. And I did it in the day after poker. I just picked it up and threw it on as I was getting out of bed. Didn't have anything else on, and I walked to the kitchen. And I was like, "Hey, is the coffee thing I need up here?" And I did this. And she was like, "That's still not funny." All these years,
And it's even worse than that cheap sweatshirt.
I've never laughed at that one time. Still not funny. But she does know what I'm doing every time.
And you appear to have a rash.
Or you're hitting around for that bag.
All right, we'll get to the sports headlines here. The show being brought to you by our great friends at New Life Art. That's Daniel A. Moore's place, danielmooreart.com. Hey, and if you're a big Alabama fan and an Eagles fan, look at what they have for you now. Don't forget the promo code TNR, but they're celebrating the Super Bowl champions from Alabama. You have Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson. They've all been part of great works from Daniel A. Moore. And you can get deals right now. Roll Eagles Roll and a lot more at danielmooreart.com. danielmooreart.com. Celebrate with Jalen, Devontae, and Landon right there at danielmooreart.com. You, of course, can still get the legend and other great pieces of Alabama work. danielmooreart.com. danielmooreart.com. And also by our wonderful friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. Get yourself out of the doghouse when you play bad jokes on your wife by giving her a Woodhouse gift certificate.
Yeah, hey, and the weekend is here. You want to watch college basketball all day Saturday and Sunday. Very simple. Send the significant other to the best day spa right here in Birmingham, the Woodhouse Day Spa, located at the Summit Shopping Centers. You can order 24/7 online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Let her choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Stop in, located at the Summit Shopping Centers. Tell Stewart and that great staff the next round sent you. For more information, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
11 days ago, we really didn't know anything about the Four Nations face-off, the NHL All-Star break that lasted 10 days. And now Brown and Little T are raving about it last night on social media. Brown's got his American flag on. You seemed all in last night on the Team USA hockey.
Watched every minute. I'm still supporting the boys. This morning they played hard, Jim. I know nothing about hockey. Here's some things I like about hockey, though. Yeah. Well, first of all,
but it's not your first hockey game you've seen. You've gone to hockey games. You've watched them on television.
Boy, I can't tell you last time I watched one start to finish.
Yeah.
Now, it's Stanley Cup. I'll flip by, and if it's good, I'll stay and watch the end of a Stanley Cup playoff game.
Like I believed Taylor on social media last night that was the first hockey game she's ever watched.
Yeah.
But I know you've watched some.
Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I've watched a complete hockey game. So number one, I credit the NHL for this idea. What a genius idea by them. How many All-Star games do you care about? None. I don't even watch All-Star games. Pro Bowl is a skills competition now. No interest in that. Major League Baseball All-Star Game, I might watch the first inning of that, but I'm not going to sit around and watch a whole Major League Baseball All-Star Game. NBA All-Star Game is unwatchable.
Yep.
I used to say that NASCAR did the best All-Star event because it was more like their normal events, right?
Yep.
But I don't watch that.
But it's gone off.
It's gone off.
Can I just pause you real quick?
Sure.
If there had not been 3 fights in the first 9 seconds with the political tension going on between USA and Canada, would this same craze be going on?
No, not at all.
So the NHL and ESPN owe it to the Kachucks. They should pay them a little extra money.
Good
under
Americans,
the
Kachucks.
Because they went out there, whether it was planned or not, to stir up interest.
Well, and the way they did it, too, within the first 9 seconds.
Right. It was intentional.
Because that grabbed everybody.
That's right.
And by the way, that's about what I watched last night.
9 seconds?
I watched about, 2 or 3 minutes.
I watched every minute. It was fantastic.
Well, I missed the beginning because Little T and I were recording the basketball show, but then...
Boy, ESPN's lead in, the national anthems, bringing out Mike Eruzione and Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
It was perfect. ESPN played this thing in the NHL. I credit them for a unique idea. Whether it would have worked or not without the fights, you got to credit them for a unique idea to make an all-star game even meaningful to some. Like, would I have watched it without the fights the other night? No. But hockey fans were going to watch this and cheer for their country. You put the stars and stripes on something, it's gonna hook me in, man. When we can play for some country pride, not the sausage, but some national pride, it's gonna hook me in.
Yeah, they play every now and then, but because of where we are in that's what made 1980 in the Olympics so much better.
That's right.
Miracle on Ice, because of what was going on in the world, what's going on in the world now, that made it a little juicier.
Yeah. Now the one Kachuk that played can play for me anytime. That guy, man, he likes to stick his nose in there. He don't take crap off anybody. And I think he's a good player. And then they had that one defender. What's his name? Started with an S.
Don't know.
Something.
Yeah. There's a guy like Kachuk on every NHL team.
Is there really?
Yeah.
But are they
There's
as
an
good
enforcer
as
on every team.
But he's a really good player, though.
Yeah. You're not in the best on best
Jake
without
Sanderson?
being good. Yes. Yeah.
No. I can't remember. But the defender that broke up everything. That guy was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then our goalie apparently is really good, though. I don't know if he had his best game last night or not. I don't really know. Here's what I like about hockey, though. Now that I'm a big hockey fan after last night.
It is fast. A lot of action. And you know what they don't do, Lance? They don't go to the monitors for replay in hockey. Nope.
You know what they don't do a lot in hockey, Dunaway?
What?
They don't blow that whistle and stop the game. Well, they let the boys play.
When you're offsides or icing, they do. But
that's pretty rare.
Pretty quick.
Pretty rare. You got some dead balls in there when the puck goes up in the net, or if the goalie catches it and we got to do a face-off. You got some downtime, but they don't stop that game a lot.
And I don't know, was it in 4K last night?
I don't think so.
Because the thing that really popped to me early with HD was hockey. That white ice really came out. I used to love... I had the center ice package for years.
It is the one sport I think that so much better in person than watching on TV. TV, like football, you can. Brown has said this before. Going to an NFL game, watching the NFL Sunday, it's better at home almost than being at the stadium. College, I like being at the stadium, but the product is still so good on television, sometimes better depending on your seats.
See, I think the best in person is baseball, but hockey is right up there.
Hockey, to me, as far as the translation from in person to on television, their television product is nowhere close to the in-arena experience.
So this experience happens a lot at my house. My wife will sit down while I have a sporting event on, and I'll get a couple questions about why is this important to us, right? So she can get hooked in. So last night she was not at the house when the game started. So she comes in and she says, "Oh, why is hockey on?" So I start explaining this to her, right?
Yeah, Justin Trudeau is going to bend the knee to Trump.
That's right.
If they lose.
We're literally playing for Canada, baby. If we win, we've got a 51st
Hey,
state.
what would the percentage of Americans? I know it was half of America tuned in for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You think we would have gotten half if we were getting Canada for the 51st?
If we get Canada with the win, we get all of Canada. I think it would get massive ratings. But so she sits down. She's like, "Oh, so why are we watching this?" I said, "Well, this is the Hockey All-Star break, and it's the 4 nations: Finland, Sweden, United States, and Canada. That's the most players. Like I know anything about this. That's the most players in the NHL. It's all you've told me. Most players in the NHL are from those countries. So they chopped up teams from those countries. They're playing each other." And I said, "The other night they booed our national anthem in Montreal." So they just fought right away. And our boys came in afterwards like, by God, we were not going to let them boo the Star Spangled Banner. And Jennifer's like, "Ooh, I like this." So she starts watching. She goes, "Okay, so what's on the line here?" And I was like, "Well, really nothing."
Yeah, a really made-for-television trophy.
But everything. We're playing for the Stars and Stripes. I don't really know how to describe
I'll be
it.
in the kitchen making cookies. You let me know if there's one of those fights.
I mean, she got hooked in, man. She watched swimming. She watched the overtimes. Had Sean McDonough.
Went to overtime, 3-2. Canada wins it last night. Connor McDavid with the game winner. Last time it was best on best. Sid Crosby had it for Canada back in 2010. 5 meetings of best on best for a winner-take-all trophy or medal in the Olympics, and Canada's won 4 of the 5. But an exciting night last night in Boston with, I'm going to say this, with bad American fans there. The get-in price, worst seat in the house last night was $2,300, and a lot of Canadians bought tickets. There were a lot of Canadians that were in Boston, probably had pre-bought these way in advance.
Way back,
Maybe they live in the Boston area. But I felt like there was a little bit of Coleman Coliseum, them letting Auburn in. They were letting the Canadians in Boston
Montreal
last
the
night.
other night, was there a lot of Americans
Didn't
in Montreal?
watch the first second of the game in Montreal, Lance. I was not a hockey fan until last night.
I don't know, but there was enough to make a noise last night in Canada.
Hey, you know what
Canadians
you did?
there.
You cashed your ticket that we talked
That's right.
about.
I did.
I cannot believe y'all bet against
It was
them.
an easy win.
I didn't, Brown. I just said I liked them.
Jimmy America.
Well, I'm just saying.
You bet on America's hat against us?
It's just like I'll bet on Kentucky tomorrow, man.
Hey,
either I'll make money or I'll be happy.
One
or the two.
What is the best export we've ever had from Canada?
As
Pam
a person
Anderson.
or
No,
like a
but
product?
whatever. Like you make an argument. A product, person, brand.
I enjoy them.
Were you a Labatt's guy back in the day?
I've had Labatt's. Moosehead, was that from up
Yep,
there? Had
yep,
Moosehead
sure
back
was.
in the day before beers got good.
I'm going to go bacon, Canadian bacon. It's good on a pizza.
But is it literally from Canada?
Couldn't
don't
tell
know.
you. Right there in the name, though.
I
Ryan
enjoy.
Reynolds made
Ryan Reynolds?
made American companies a lot of money.
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
I enjoy the pipeline, which I assume comes down through Canada.
Sure it does.
Makes
Gets us some oil.
gets some oil from Alaska. We don't have to worry about foreign entities.
Zach says Crown Royal. So does Daniel.
Crown Royal is not good to me.
You. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not a Crown Royal guy.
It's okay.
Canadian Mist. You
Unless
like Canadian
LT
Mist?
tells me that it's distributed by our friends at Adams Beverage, I'm not a Crown
Yes,
Royal
it's
guy.
new
we,
sponsor.
we got a new deal coming.
John Candy. Cheese says John Candy.
That is a good answer.
Michael J. Fox.
Yep.
He's
Yeah.
Canadian.
Back to the Future.
Jim
Pretty
Carrey.
good.
Jim Carrey is,
Yeah.
in fact, Canadian. Yeah.
You can wear
Here's
Celine
a-
Dion.
The number one export of Canada right now.
Shania Twain.
Yeah. Shania Twain in her prime. Woo.
Alanis Morissette.
Oh, she was damn good. Yeah.
What do you guys think that, and it's not even close, the top 2 exports of
To
Canada?
the United States from Canada.
Oil and timber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maple syrup is third.
Maple
Crude
syrup,
petroleum is number 1.
Okay.
Cars is actually number 2.
Cars?
Refined petroleum number 3. Aircraft, helicopter, spacecraft 4, and coal is number 5.
Oh, it sounds like we need a lot of that stuff. Wait,
I wish we would have won that game last
oil
night.
and refined petroleum are 1 and 3?
Coal.
Coal is 5.
Yeah, it's 5.
Yeah.
What's number 1?
Number 1 is crude petroleum. Number 3 is refined petroleum.
Boy, if that game had been for Canada last night, that would have been valuable. Now, the other side of that is they get us if we lose, right?
Pork is 18, so maybe it is Canadian.
Canadian bacon. I'm telling you, I like Canadian bacon.
I'm indifferent. It's good.
Yeah.
I'd rather have pepperoni.
Good looking flag.
That is a
They got a
good
good flag. And I tell you,
It's a top 5 flag.
Yeah.
I don't hate their anthem. I think it's a touch long.
Yeah, well,
it
you
feels
don't-
like they do 2 or 3 verses.
Always play the under on that one.
Yeah.
She changed the verses last
Boy,
night.
she was not good. The girl that sang it wasn't good. Now, the
she-
girl that sang Ours is a little too opera for me, but she was good.
She changed. Yeah, I mean, she was good towards the end, but the part where she changed it in protest.
Who was it, Bieber?
Wait a minute. The Oh Canada girl changed something in protest?
Yeah.
What'd she change?
I don't know the words well enough to know what she changed.
But you read this?
But it was anti-Trump.
Are you serious?
Without mentioning his name. I don't know what phrase she said, but it was all over my TikTok today.
Oh, my gosh. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, so she dropped a I don't know what you call it when you change the words.
Yeah,
and
that's
you don't change the beat.
Artistic liberty.
Yeah.
You don't have artistic liberty on the national anthem.
No.
The national anthem's the national anthem. If you don't want to sing it the way it's written,
That's right.
Don't show
in
up.
our free country, we'd shoot you for doing that.
Well, I was going to say, hey, if
Freedom
we
of speech only goes so far.
Canada's a weak anthem anyway.
You don't like it, Tyler?
If you got to remind everybody what the name of your country is in the song.
Well, that is.
like,
that is.
it's not particularly
Well,
iconic.
I
That's a
will
good
tell
point.
you, when I watched the Olympics, there were a lot of. There's some it doesn't even sound like there are any words.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Yeah.
I mean, ours is easily the best. Like, I've heard a lot of anthems. There's nothing that compares with the Star Spangled Banner.
One of the good World Cup soccer teams from South America. I don't know if it's Brazil or somewhere else, but man, their people cry when they're singing songs. I mean,
yeah?
it must be like a love song.
Yeah,
in
Nick
there.
Sirianni did too. Here it is. Changed the lyric in "Oh Canada" as a response to Trump's repeated remarks. Publicists, blah blah blah, to the AP. Changed the lyric from "In all of us command." It's got a rollback pop up. "In all of us command" to "That only us command."
Oh, yeah. Major. Of course, what is us when it's abbreviated? United States.
I'll tell you though, if you get annexed,
She walked into our trap.
She may have wanted to defect. That may have been a symbol.
I mean, Trump might put her in the guillotine. We still got that thing going on up there. How do they have that? They don't have the death
I
penalty.
really don't know much about Canada.
I
Lance.
would bet they do not.
I know they got Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid, and that ended up being a very
That's all they
important,
needed.
very important part of last night's
Sid was
game.
not huge. McDavid was.
Canada abolished the death penalty in 1998.
Okay.
But
You know
lifetime
who
ago.
will bring it back when it
Years
becomes the 51st state? Donald Trump.
That's right.
That is
We'd have won last night.
the Four Nations last night. We'll get to basketball. Todd Fuhrman on the big games this weekend at 10. Peter Burns at 11. And one more thing here in this segment after LT tells you about Dr. B. Tell us about under that hat, that beautiful lock of hair you have.
I got
Locks.
a call from a buddy yesterday, and he was, hey, man, I've been listening to the show for a long time. I hear you talking about Dr. B. Does it really work? It is amazing. I'm sure you guys get the same thing when you do testimonials for different products. Is it really as good as you say? He really wanted to know, does it work? I told him absolutely. I started to thin out on the crown of my head. Went to see Dr. Beckenstein and that great staff. 3 years later, my hair has more than doubled in thickness. All I do is the non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. For more information, t3hair.net. T3's got that new test. So easy, painless, affordable, takes 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show you which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Men and women ordering Hims and other products online don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and that great staff. Find out what will work. 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
It's not the only place you get Major League Baseball, which is why I don't understand why this is as big a deal as it is. But Rob Manfred in Major League Baseball announcing last night, and then shortly ESPN called it a joint statement. Major League Baseball is leaving ESPN. They've been with them since 1990. They're unhappy with minimal coverage outside of the live broadcast. I would imagine NFL Today with Laura Rutledge, whatever, NFL Now, whatever they call that.
NFL Live? And
NFL
it's-
Live.
Yeah, on every single day, basically, in
Year
season
round.
or not. Yeah.
Year round. They used to have, what was it, Baseball Tonight?
Baseball
They
Tonight,
stopped
which
doing that.
it was an hour of highlights, basically.
Yeah, they stopped doing that because they have live programming on and other stuff.
It
But-
probably didn't get the ratings they wanted, right? I mean, that's
Exactly.
generally why you stop.
God, I
things.
used to watch baseball tonight every night.
Oh, it was the best.
Yeah.
That
And they-
home run, screaming animated
the
baseball.
Screaming baseball, yeah.
Yeah, it was good, but they were unhappy with the amount of coverage they were getting from ESPN outside of the live game. games. They've had the Sunday Night Baseball since 1990, a standalone game, no competition during that. Basically, it's an out window for Major League Baseball to open this up to other providers and maybe get more money in the long run than they were getting for ESPN, which could have held on to this for a few more years. Fox has the main stuff, a weekly game.
Yep, some Fox, some FS1, depending on what Fox has. Yeah,
weekly game plus the one of the championship series and the World Series.
Yep.
So Fox is still your main provider. Would it surprise you if TBS and Fox are the people that take this away from ESPN?
I wonder how much you're going to get on streaming. And that was one thing ESPN said, is that when Major League Baseball did their deals with Apple and Roku, that the price didn't match what ESPN's paying. Basically like, wait a minute, we see what you guys are charging Apple and Roku. Look at what we're paying to show your product.
$85 million for Apple, $70 million for Roku. I think it was $550 for ESPN.
And ESPN's like, this is out of whack. I mean, we're paying too much. So it's not going to surprise me actually if the number gets dropped and it stays on ESPN, but I could be wrong about that. TBS and TNT would certainly, with them losing the NBA to ESPN, would be certainly something you would look at there. Yeah. I just hope it doesn't get more confusing because the Major League, the NFL is just so clean and easy.
It is.
CBS, Fox, I know you got some streaming stuff, but...
Well, I think it also helps with the schedule. I mean, you know when those games are. Right. You know, Major League Baseball, there's so many games. They're all over the place.
In NFL, the league owns the rights, and in Major League Baseball, they let the teams own the rights, the regional network rights.
But can you imagine that Apple pays enough or another streaming service pays enough that's where Braves fans would go, Yankees fans would go, Dodgers fans would go, all to those sites, and that's where you get your local broadcasts would be on those streaming sites.
Yeah, and it's almost like extra innings. They're just all right there on Apple or Netflix or whoever, and I click on the Braves and I get my Braves game.
That's right. You just pay enough, and you'd have, if you're an Apple subscriber, we'll say, we'll just use them as an example. You get your local team. Boom. If you want to just get any team, you got to buy the blah.
Extra package.
Do you guys remember, so when NBA had League Pass, they would do Team Pass. This was early on. So if you were a Knicks fan or a Lakers fan, you could just buy the Team Pass.
Right.
Always wanted the NFL to do that.
Yeah, there's been some talk about doing it instead of Sunday
if you're not a gambler, if you don't play fantasy, you're not a gambler, and you're just focused on your team, it makes sense.
And here's the thing: when you really break down what you're paying each Sunday for Sunday ticket, I don't know how much cheaper they can go to get you your team. Like you're only paying like $20 a Sunday, I think, for Sunday ticket, which to me is well worth it.
Yep.
So I mean, what would they say? $10 a Sunday just to watch the Buccaneers or the Dolphins or the Rams?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I'd do it anyway, but I would do it for $10.
Yeah, but then you don't get any of the other games.
I mean, for $10, I could take the other $10 and buy this.
Get your shirt to watch it in.
I mean, really, I said this early on, and I know that it's a monopoly and it kind of sucks for the consumer, but it's one of the best deals in sports. I mean, realistically,
Sunday ticket.
Yeah, you would pay $100 a week, or a lot of people would pay $100 a week to watch their team.
I don't know the entertainment. Well, I'm just saying for 20, I think I'll go do the math. It's $20-25 a week. What can you spend 25? Tyler, how much did it cost you to go to the movie last night?
Well, he's on a pass.
Total. I know you're on a pass. Just guess. Popcorn and all.
But it would have been like $40, right?
For me, it was 15 because I just got a drink at the bar.
He's got a pass, and it's 15.
Look, I went to the zoo a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. To go to the zoo, just 2 tickets was $50-something bucks.
Where else can you pay $25 and get the entertainment of an NFL Sunday?
Or even $100, especially if you're watching it with your kid or your family, your girlfriend, wife. Like, I really think I would pay. Boy, I hate to say this out loud, but I would. I'd pay $100 a week.
Yeah.
I'd pay $1,700 as opposed to, what are we paying now? $350,
something like that. It's actually a really good deal when you start thinking about it.
So we'll see what Major League Baseball does in the future. One more full year of ESPN, one more full Sunday Night Baseball. I think the first ESPN Sunday Night Baseball broadcast this year is Braves-Padres out in San Diego when we get to the Major League season. All right, when we come back, basketball will set the table for what could be a huge weekend for Alabama. How important is Alabama and Kentucky tomorrow? We'll talk about that coming up on the other side. Urology Centers of Alabama bringing you this show today. 16 locations in central Alabama in our area. Guys, stay on top of your health. If you're watching us anywhere You can find out the location near you, Urology Centers, Alabama.com, UrologyCentersAlabama.com, or call up 930-0920. Numbers on your screen there. Prostate health, kidney stones, everything in between, vasectomies, if it's that time in life for you, go check it out, 205-930-0920 or UrologyCentersAlabama.com.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
Back with you on the next round. LTD&B with you here today. Our friends at Hemp Hill bring you the lock every day, Lance. Lance'sLock.com. Sneaky good game tonight in basketball. 7 o'clock on Main Fox. 14th ranked Michigan State on the road at number 12 Michigan. That's 7 o'clock on Main Fox right there. Tom Izzo is 70 years old, and he's got a team that is playing pretty good basketball now.
Yeah, another quietly good game. 6 o'clock tip tonight, Marquette, Villanova in the Big East. We've got that game up and available, 4-2. Another winning night for you at Lance'sLock.com. 3 plays tonight, 1 in the NBA, 2 on the college hardwoods. Lance'sLock.com for that free play. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
So how big is this game for Alabama tomorrow? Alabama playing host to Kentucky. We'll get a status report on Lamont Butler. That's pretty big for Kentucky there, coming into this game with his injured shoulder. He's been in and out of the lineup. Bama beat him at Rupp. How important is this game, Lance, tomorrow?
I think it's really important because, people, it's one thing to lose to your in-state rival on your home court in front of maybe the most raucous, excited crowd in the history of a regular season basketball game. And you go from that where you didn't lead for a second, you go on the road, which we all agreed the road environment seemed to be better after that loss. And you give up 110 points and you don't lead a second of that game. 2 consecutive losses for the first time in a calendar year is a big deal, especially with some of the flaws you saw. But if you were to lose 3 consecutive games and 2 of the 3 to be at home, I know Kentucky's a talented team. I think Alabama will probably come in about a 6.5-point favorite. But it's a dangerous game, and it's a much-needed win. But much like we said, going on the road I thought was beneficial, although it didn't work out. I think being back home now after back-to-back losses is beneficial.
So the last time Alabama lost 3 straight, you only have to go back to last year, but it was December 9th, 16th, and 20th. I say last year, last season, because that's all the way back in 2023. When they lost to number 4 Purdue and number 8 Creighton and number 4 Arizona. They lost to 3 straight top 10 teams. That was a tough stretch.
All the way from home, I think.
I do believe you're correct. Yeah, one was in Toronto, one was in Omaha, and one was in Phoenix. This would be 2 of the 3 at home at Coleman Coliseum, which would make it even worse. But this team hasn't lost 3 straight games in a while.
But what have they lost, Brownie? Do they look confident to you with anything they're doing?
I mean, it's hard. This is weird, and I think it's kind of – hang on, I want to pull this up from the mybookie.ag chat room because I was looking at that right as we came back, and I think this is worded well. I don't know if you guys feel this way. Gosh, where did it go?
As you're looking, I would just say they need this win, Brownie, because it gives them their swagger back.
Yeah.
If they get this win over a nationally ranked Kentucky team, sweep Kentucky this year, I think all of a sudden they're like, you know what? We just played 2 damn really good teams.
Matt says, I'm a Bama fan. I watch and notice how bad they look at times in games. It's weird. They can score a lot of points, but will go long stretches looking bad and committing turnovers. I kind of feel that way, right? Like normally if a team scores 98 points, you're like, woof. Man, that team, they look crisp. But they scored 98 points against Missouri and looked sloppy a lot of times. So that is kind of what you get with this Alabama team. I don't know that they've lost confidence. I don't know. I mean, I don't, because normally lost confidence shows up in offense, not defense, doesn't it? Or it's easier to see. Let me say that. It might show up equally in offense and defense, but it's easier to notice in offense that you lack confidence.
Well, I think losing back-to-back games, not a big deal. Look, you see it in the NBA. I mean, your best team in the NBA right now is Oklahoma City. They've lost back-to-back games only one time this year. So it happens. You don't want to lose 3 straight, though, and a team that you've already beaten on the road, because I do think you can chalk it up to, this schedule is NBA-like when you look in the SEC.
But if they lose this one, it's 3 in a row, and then you find me the win after that.
Well, and that was going to be the problem. We talked a little bit about this on Bama and Bourbon. Bama can probably absorb a couple of more losses and still be on that 1 line. I think they're a healthy 1 right now. But if you lose 3 of these next 5, which is very possible, do you still find yourself on the 1 line? I don't know.
If you lose this one, you could still beat State at home. I mean,
tough game though. They're playing their
all
best.
tough.
They're playing their best basketball right
Just
now.
right now, quick
You
snapshot.
could win at Tennessee. That's a wildly erratic Tennessee team.
Okay, you could, but of these five, like, what would you tell me the record is going to be? Again, Alabama's going to be favored the next two games. They'll be dog against Tennessee, slight favorite against Florida, and then dog against Auburn. So they're going to be three favorites.
3-2.
It's either 3-2 or 2-3. I'm going to go 3-2.
I'm going to go 2-3.
Yeah.
And, at that point, you're 2-5 on your final 7 games.
Yep.
And the good news for Alabama at that point, and this is probably the only good news, and this is weird good news, and probably a lot of people disagree. This is the, I guess, the warlock of me coming out. But nobody's going to touch Alabama in the tournament if you've lost 5 of 7.
That's right.
So the good news is, if you believe it's good news, nobody's going to have Alabama in their brackets, much like they didn't last year, and you saw what happened. They made the Final Four run. To me, if they've lost 5 of 7, they're kind of untouchable at that point, aren't they?
No pressure at that point.
Yeah.
The pressure is off of them.
Much like last year, right? Where
They were an 11-loss team.
limped in last
Now,
year.
but if they win these 5 games, if you beat Kentucky, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Florida, and
You're
Auburn,
the overall number 2.
oh, and everybody's going to have you winning the whole thing probably.
Coming in hot. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know the whole thing, but going to the Final Four for sure.
If you win in Tennessee, beat Florida, win in Auburn, at that point you're probably number 1. You might be the number 1 overall seed at that point.
All right, so you ask, what will they do? What is considered successful for this 5-game stretch?
3-2.
3-2, I would take right now.
Yeah.
If you told me 3-2 right now, I'd take it right now.
Oh yeah.
4-1 is you've played exceptional. 5-0 is you've worked a miracle.
I think 3-2 is more than likely the number. So you're 24-7 heading to Nashville.
What would Duke do on this stretch? I mean, would you?
That's the question, Brad.
Yeah.
How good is Duke? Can they scrape off the rust from having no competition?
3-2.
I think they'd be 3-2.
Yeah.
I think Tennessee would be 3-2 in this stretch. I think Florida would be 3-2 in this stretch.
I think Auburn might be 3-2. Now,
Auburn would be 4-1 or 3-2 in this stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the whole thing is you look at it and you're like, what would the best teams in basketball do in this stretch? And I think they would all do about the same thing. Maybe one of them plays really well and goes 4-1 in a stretch like this.
Just everything all of a sudden is just a little bit harder for Alabama. Harder to get the threes up against Auburn, harder to play defense on the road at Missouri. Didn't get that win, didn't play good defense, can't finish a news conference because of fire alarms going off. Now you've got snow and ice. The charter can't get there to bring you back to Alabama. You don't get back until yesterday afternoon at 5 o'clock after the great folks at Alabama send 2 different planes to pick you. I mean, just
these are the small things that start to stand out when you lose a couple of games.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It's the equivalent of, like, if your AC goes out and everything in life is going great, it's fine. But if you had lost your job and you had to put your dog down and your AC goes out, you're like, what in the hell is going on?
and now my check engine lights on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So, but everyone back safely and ready to go for the weekend. But delays coming out of the ice and snow in Columbia, just troubles traveling in America. I mean,
So game day.
people were
is
locked
terrible.
down in
Yeah.
Atlanta airport yesterday.
Are they really?
They were yesterday.
Was there
yeah.
a security issue?
No, because of the snow. Now,
Oh, okay.
lockdown is they couldn't.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, they just couldn't get out because of the snow.
planes were being canceled all over
But here's
the
the
place.
thing, Lance. You played this game in Rupp Arena, and this speaks to Kentucky's defense. Bama made 13 threes against Kentucky. They were 30 of 67 from the field, so shot almost 45% from the field, 38% from beyond the arc. Kentucky's defense isn't what Alabama has seen against Ole Miss, against Auburn, even in the loss against Missouri.
Yeah.
I'd have to see where Ken Palm has the two
So
of
just
them.
real quick, though, game day is back, right?
For tomorrow?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm going to read verbatim. I didn't think so either. I thought that they would be in for the 11 o'clock tip.
They are. They're at Texas A&M.
Yeah, College Station.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, there's an article up right now on ESPN that just came out this morning, and this is where it said this. Myron Metcalf did this. Alabama basketball, it's their top story on the college basketball. Alabama basketball has minimal margin for error and knows it. And so, again, Myron Metcalf, and it says, exactly 322 days later after whatever he went into, Alabama will try to avoid a 3rd consecutive loss when it hosts number 17 Kentucky on Saturday in the Tide's 2nd straight appearance on College Game Day, following last weekend's 94-85 loss to number 1 Auburn. This is an ESPN writer, right?
I don't think he's right, though.
I think he.
I think we'd have known by now.
I think he got confused on.
Well, that's
his
a big
wording.
swing and a miss.
No, his wording meant they're trying to avoid 3 straight losses when they go back to game day last year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is the Houston-Iowa State game is where game day is.
No,
Houston.
that doesn't read like that, Dunaway.
No, I know. I'm saying as he was cutting and pasting and deleting and writing his story, he
was in a hurry.
Because 322 days ago is when they hosted game day against Tennessee, and they went on that losing. They lost to Tennessee and lost, and I think he was at some point was writing to avoid what they did last year when they hosted game day for the second straight year, consecutive years.
I would
not to try to correct, not to be a
Myron
editor for Myron Beckhouse.
That's why I said it out loud because I thought Taylor was in the office with me and she was, and I was like, "Damn, game day is going to be back in Tuscaloosa."
No.
Yeah. I think you may see him again, by the way, at Auburn to end the year.
Maybe
on that Saturday.
They've never done back-to-back in any, right?
Yeah, I don't really keep up with where basketball game day goes, honestly.
Yeah.
I like it when they come to our state, but I really don't know where they are if they're not in our state. It's
arguably the best game, though.
Alabama, Kentucky. I mean, it does have a lot of meaning because it's got meaning for Kentucky, too.
Number 8, Iowa State at number 5, Houston.
Well, 7, A&M, and 6, Tennessee. I'm just saying you could make the argument, though.
Yeah, but at the Houston game, Houston's about to – if they win this game, they basically have clinched back-to-back Big 12 championships in their first 2 years in the Big 12.
It's actually a pretty good sneaky slate tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. It's unbelievable. You got that game. You've got you got a underrated Duke-Illinois game where Illinois apparently is over the flu and everything else that was going through, so they'll be close to healthy. St. Mary's and
Well, you know where that
Gonzaga.
game is, right?
It's in New York City.
Yeah, MSG.
Yeah. Oregon, Wisconsin, sneaky good. You got UConn and St. John's on Sunday. A lot of good basketball happening this week.
Does Arkansas finally get that win against Missouri?
Arkansas is hosting Missouri, 7 o'clock on ESPN. A chance there for Arkansas to get that marquee win to get them into the bubble. But for Alabama, it's a big game. 5 o'clock ESPN tomorrow. Number 1 Auburn has Georgia, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon in a busy slate in the SEC. Maybe the one with the most impact on tournament situation is Missouri, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Vandy. Vandy could use a win. Arkansas could use a win. Those two teams at home could possibly punch tickets with wins tomorrow. Home teams, that's a big advantage. Big opportunities for Vandy and Arkansas to get on the right side of the bubble and stay there.
Yeah, and you guys remember when it used to be, St. Mary's, Gonzaga. You got that tomorrow night too, and
it used to be massive.
That's a pretty big game. Yeah. I mean, neither one is ranked, but both of those teams are really good, solid 24 and 21 win teams right now.
Yeah, and if St. Mary's wins, they are back-to-back West Coast Conference champions.
It's hard to believe.
Hard to believe that they would do it in back-to-back years. So that's basketball coming up this weekend. Our show being brought to you by our friends at McCurry. Tyler, if you can give me the spotlight here, and we'll get into a little college football news that happened overnight.
The College Football Spotlight.
McCurry Van and Car Rental. They got those very difficult to find rentals for you at McCurry. You can see more at McCurryRentals.com or give them a call, 256-559-1003. Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman, 2nd Avenue Northwest. Also in Athens, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa, McCurryRentals.com.
Steve Sarkisian's new contract will work its way up to over $12.2 million when it nears the end. He's part of the $10 million coaching family there. Sark doing a good job, great job.
Doing a good job. I think my friends in Austin got a little upset with me yesterday, Chip and Zay, when I mentioned that Sark just hasn't won that big game. And they were like, well, what about in Tuscaloosa 2 years ago? And I was like, that was a big game, but it really didn't affect anything. It probably did get Texas to the college football playoff, winning the Big 12 in their final season there. But that loss didn't affect Alabama. They still won the SEC. They got to a college football playoff. And that was one of those games where it was like, we're here, we're on the same level as a lot of these premier programs, but there wasn't really anything at stake with that game, if that makes sense. Like, I want to see Sark, and ultimately he can do this maybe this year, because you saw it with Ryan Day after, him being hit with, he can't win the big one, won 4 consecutive playoff games en route to his first national championship. Maybe Sark does that this year, but you guys have got to give me, outside of that Big 12 championship in a game they were favored, when have they won like a monumental November playoff-like game?
I mean, the Clemson game was a big win, Arizona State, but they should beat both those teams. against a team they're not supposed to beat.
I'm just talking about against like teams. You know, give me one of these wins in the playoff against Ohio State, beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, and maybe. I mean, look, I think Texas fans believe in year one we played for it, we should have won it. In year two, we've got the next Tebow and Arch Manning. I think they all believe they're going to win it this year.
Yeah. I mean, you're paying this guy like you think he's about to win a national championship, which I think is
this
what
real
they think.
today?
Oh, he's not doing video.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've got Sark's new contract through $12.3 million in 2031. He will never have $12.3 million a year on this contract because he will be successful enough that it'll get reworked again before we get to
probably
2031.
So. Like, where are we right now? Like, Alabama losing 4 games last year was just devastation. Like, Sark can never lose 4 games again.
Nope. Not feel how Kalen DeBoer felt.
Look, I don't think just winning an SEC championship, I don't think that's going to define the season. But would you guys give me if they don't make deep runs every year under Sark? It's a massive disappointment.
Yeah, I would agree. They expect to be what Georgia has been, a lot like what Alabama was under Saban.
It's playoff every year or not.
What Ohio State has been. Yeah, I mean that's what they expect right now.
Yeah. By the way, Sark did name on the Up and Adams podcast yesterday when he was live with Kay Adams. Did name Arch Manning number 1 quarterback, QB1. No quarterback battle.
It's interesting because we talked about the spring games, and Sark's not going to have a spring game, and we talked about one of the reasons you might not is because if you already have a defined starter, then everybody else is running for the portal. But I guess anybody in that quarterback room, including yours, who had to take off for the NFL, they know that hey, we're not playing.
Todd Fuhrman's next to talk about the big basketball games happening this weekend. One note I wanted to get out before we get to the top on college football. Looking back, the talent that came through Tuscaloosa when Nick Saban was there as assistant coaches is mind-boggling. I mean, even a guy who
I still think the receiver talent was better, but
but these coaches, forget Sark and Kiffin and all these guys who were on the staff there who are the best of the best. Lanning was an analyst, a grad assistant, whatever he was when he was there, the best of the best. I mean, you go down the list, you go a long way before you get to Doug Nussmeier, who was named yesterday as the New Orleans Saints offensive coordinator, joining Kellen Moore's staff down there. Now, Kellen calls the plays, but Nussmeier will be in an OC room.
Disaster.
That's just another guy who is way down the list. You would name 10 guys before you got to Doug Nussmeier on greatest assistants in Saban's 17 years, and he's now the OC of an NFL team.
I think he's a bit underrated, too. I think the job he did in 2012 with that offense, I think Nussmeier is not remembered as well as he should be.
That's my point.
I know.
That's my point.
I know.
Yeah. Really a lot of great coaches running through Tuscaloosa when Saban was there. All right, when we come back, Fuhrman from the Desert Show being brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. The great folks there, Leslie and her board-certified team, they love 2 things. They love America, and they love helping you lose some weight. Leslie and her team can help you. Just start off by going to the website, aplanforme.com. There's no contracts. There's no sign-up fees, and the first consultation is absolutely free, so you get a sneak peek on what Leslie can do for you with meal replacements, injection therapies, and anything else that you need to jumpstart your weight loss. It's all right there at planforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Always good games in the SEC. Auburn gets a breather with Georgia at Neville. Bama and Kentucky, 2 top 17 teams. Tennessee and A&M and College Station, 6 versus 7. A lot of other bubble games. Let's talk about the weekend slate and maybe the Daytona 500 reaction from Todd Fuhrman here.
He is Bet the Board podcast, Todd Fuhrman, and you can follow him on social media there at Todd Fuhrman. Welcome in, Fuhrman. How are you today? Todd? We do not hear Todd.
Yeah. For those that are wondering why Todd is, we're trying to get Todd's audio up here, is we got a lightning strike a few weeks ago. I keep getting a DM every now and then or a message on social media trying to call the show to talk about Alabama or Auburn basketball or this or that. And we are repairing our phone lines, and Fuhrman joining us today in a rare fashion. And audio, Todd, you there? I saw his mic moving.
I don't think his microphone is on.
Oh, I saw the green.
Everything's good on our end.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll get back to Fuhrman here. We'll work out the details there on the basketball we were talking about last night, by the way. I sold that big Lipscomb North Alabama game, battle for ASUN first place. Lipscomb got the win there over North Alabama. Our buddy listens to the show, friend of the show, Lenny Acuff, coaching there at Lipscomb. New Mexico State beat Jack State, knocked Jack State out of first place there in CUSA for the moment. Maryland got the win last night over USC. LT Maryland's 21-6, 11-5, maybe the sleepiest under the radar 21 team in America right now.
Yeah,
21 win team.
A little inconsistent, but yeah, I mean, red hot right now.
The biggest loss last night was Northwestern blowing out Ohio State in Columbus 70-49. That could be a loss that keeps Ohio State out of the NCAA
Bad
tournament.
loss, man. They were almost a double-digit favorite in that game and never, ever were in that game.
Yep. And then you have what Auburn is doing to help Janai Broom's campaign for National Player of the Year. They at auburntigers.com/Broom, BROOME. They launched All for Auburn yesterday, his jersey number, All for Auburn, and it highlights what Janai Broom is doing, and will continue to promote him for National Player of the Year. So Auburn's all in now on the Janai Broom campaign this final month to get him the votes from the United States Basketball Writers Association.
It's going to be tight. I do think Cooper Flagg will end up winning it for a variety of reasons. But, boy, it will be really, really come down to the wire. Do you think if the Diego Pavia thing got passed at a bigger level that Broom would come back?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, if you just had, like, unlimited eligibility.
Oh, yeah, because I think he could make at Auburn what, guaranteed what he probably wouldn't get in a guaranteed deal in the NBA. I mean, you got to be first round to get a guaranteed deal in the NBA.
I don't know how big of a basketball fan Jimmy Rain is, but, whoever the big Auburn booster that loves basketball, I mean, that's worth a seven-figure commitment.
Yeah,
get a guy like that back.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a Player of the Year level guy, and he would keep you very, very, very much in the national conversation for several years. I mean, Janai Broom could play college basketball quite a while.
I think it'll be interesting. I was talking to a guy who knows a little bit about covering Auburn basketball the other night, and I said, I'm right. Chad Baker-Mazara can come back next year, right? And he's absolutely, because of the JUCO thing. The question would become the people who kick in and spend the NIL money on him, would they want to do it again next year?
Right.
And that becomes the question.
Yeah.
And how different is this roster next year?
Oh, it is.
Well, there's a handful of guys that the Diego Pavia rule helps. But Chad Baker-Mazara is certainly one of those.
But this roster is going to completely flip.
It's going to look a lot different.
Yeah.
Let's try Todd again. I think he's good to go. Todd Fuhrman, Bet the Board podcast at Todd Fuhrman on social media. Fuhrman, you with us now?
I think so, gentlemen. Technology, not exactly my forte, so you have to bear with me here as I'm on the wrong side of 40. I'm getting close to Dunaway's age.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, geez. Early shot.
But I get in about 96% of my Zoom calls, though. So.
Well, look, it's impressive, Dunaway. I'll give you a proverbial golf clap for that. I'm a slow learner, so it's going to take me a little while to adjust to the modern wave of technology.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I am not you were jokingly texting with me last night about hockey. I am not a hockey guy. I know that. But how good was that last night? I mean, as just a guy that sits around on the couch and likes watching sports, I watched every minute of that, Fuhrman. That was fun to watch.
It's incredible when you get the opportunity to see the best on best with the NHL, something that we haven't seen since 2016. It really is a treat. And sets the stage for the Olympics about 350 days from now, where hopefully we have Russia's inclusion as well. So you really get to see the best players going head to head. And it speaks to this generation where Sidney Crosby kind of had the mantle as the golden goal game winner in 2010 in Vancouver against Team USA. But a lot of this generation has not played together on a stage of that magnitude. And I think the other thing to keep in mind when you watch that tournament, whether it was the game Saturday against Team Canada or, of course, the final last night, those are truly exhibitions. The players aren't getting compensated for that. It's not like when you go as a member of the Olympic team that there's a little bit of a financial upside. This was a tournament thrown together about 18 months ago by the NHL and the NHLPA, and I think it exceeded everyone's expectations given what was on display last night. Unfortunately for the red, white, and blue, coming up just short, not being able to put away some of those glorious chances early on in overtime.
Fuhrman, after Auburn's win in Tuscaloosa last Saturday, I think almost everyone agrees best team in college basketball. But what about Las Vegas? Who do they maybe value is somebody that's not getting as much love nationally?
You mentioned the win last week against Bama, and it moved Auburn to an overwhelming favorite to be SEC regular season champions. Now a 1-10 favorite, followed by Florida and Bama in that 12-13-1 range. Depending on who you talk to, some folks still have Duke power rated number one. I'm not sure I'm of that mindset. I'm more in line with the way that Futures odds are currently being priced with Auburn a slight edge in that particular market, right around 3.5 to 1. Duke behind them at 4.5. And then you see a bit more of a drop off to the Houstons of the world. But we've been fooled by this Houston Cougars team in the past. I'm not sure I'm ready to buy into this edition any more than I've been in the past. And then it's a question of figuring out who you think from the SEC is the biggest threat to Auburn. Is it Florida when they're entirely healthy, given what we've seen from the Gators, not necessarily on a game-in, game-out basis? Or is it Alabama once they can lean into some of that veteran experience, the pedigree, and the fact that they have played on that stage last year and use that to kind of spur another deep run into San Antonio?
Yeah, looking forward to the NCAA tournament coming up. Speaking of Alabama, they get Kentucky at home. Give me a thought on that game. Where do you think the line's going to be in Tuscaloosa? And has Alabama starting to take on a little leakage of oil in the odds makers in Vegas?
I mean, if you'd have told me that Alabama goes on the road to Columbia on Wednesday night and scores 98, I'd have said they win that game going away, not instead being on the wrong side of a double-digit defeat. So there's no doubt some concerns after back-to-back losses about Alabama's lackluster defensive capabilities. But when you look at the game against Kentucky, I expect Bama to open up in that 5.5, 6 range at home. This is a Kentucky team that we've seen put together a tremendous second half against Vanderbilt, but looked pretty pedestrian for the first 20 minutes. And what was interesting about that game against the Commodores earlier this week, you saw very real professional money come in on Vandy in that spot, taking them from a 7-point pup down to 5. But this is a Kentucky team that, appears to be hit or miss. We know they like to get up and down the court. We know defense can be optional for them as well. And it should make this Alabama-Kentucky game as exciting as what we saw the first time around, although I'm not sure we get to that 200-point threshold.
Auburn is taking on Georgia on Saturday, Fuhrman, and it's a desperate Georgia team, kind of like Arkansas was for Auburn. They've got these back-to-back games where they're playing desperate teams that have to have wins to get to the tournament. Where do you see this game falling out, and what do you think happens there?
I think desperate may be selling Georgia a little bit at the high end. When you look at the way that the Bulldogs have played, I mean, since they started the season with that 10-point win against Oklahoma that took them to 14-2, I mean, this is a group now 2-8 that I think's got a lot of work in front of them. Fortunately for them, when you play in the SEC, you have a chance for those marquee resume-defining wins each and every time you hit the floor, and they'll have that this week on the road at Auburn, and of course, a middle-of-the-week home date against the Florida Gators as well. But I think Auburn comes into this game, we're looking at them right around an 18 to an 18.5 point favorite. Am I running to the window to lay the lumber with the Tigers here? Absolutely not. But do I want a Georgia team on the road taking all of, those points? I don't think they match up nearly as well as Arkansas did. And for those folks that backed Arkansas, you saw them really dig their heels in, commit on the defensive end, and keep that game in the 60s, which made it a relatively comfortable cover for them as a double-digit road dog.
So game day in Houston tomorrow for Iowa State, Houston, Big 12 matchup. Houston wins this one. They've still got to go to Texas Tech, but there's a good chance they win out. If they win out, they've got a shot at getting one of those 1 seeds. How close to double digits do you think the Cougars will be favored tomorrow against a really good Iowa State team?
Crazy when you look at the odds to win the conference. Houston, an even bigger favorite right now in the Big 12 than the way Auburn is currently being priced. And this is a Houston side that gets Iowa State team that hasn't exactly been as good over the last 5 to 7 games as what we saw early in the year. I think this number comes just shy of double digits. I expect Houston to open up in that 8.5 to 9 range. Maybe you do have odds makers looking to dangle a 10 out there, seeing if they can elicit a bet or two on Iowa State, at least on the opening number. But credit to the Cyclones. Now, they haven't taken on a murderer's row over the last 4 games, but they have righted the ship a bit after that 3-game losing streak. And to your point, LT, I do think that Houston probably makes the most compelling case if they're able to hold serve down the stretch to be that 4th number 1 seed.
When we get to Selection Sunday, now under a month away, is there a certain level of seed that you fall in love with to make a deep run in the tournament? Because I think a lot of people, at least in our area, saw Missouri and paid attention to Missouri, what they did to Alabama, and realized, dang, that's a pretty good team. I think Mississippi State could be one of those teams when we get to the brackets. Who do you think America and people like you will sort of fall in love with on Selection Sunday and say, that's the sort of mid-range team I'm going to ride with now?
It's always one of those things, Dunaway, and it feels like a crutch that all of us can lean on, that it's all about the path. I mean, if a team draws some favorable matchups, you can definitely make a compelling case for a number of teams, although I do think there is a tier that is a clear-cut better as far as legitimate national championship contenders. But there's one team that I keep coming back to that I think a lot of people are going to pick to make a deep run, and it's a familiar name in that coaching fraternity in Rick Pitino and what he's been able to accomplish with St. John's. We've seen this Johnny's team on their best day be able to go in stores, knock off UConn. The problem that I have with St. John's, knowing how poorly they shoot the ball from beyond the arc, you do wonder if they run into a buzzsaw and those shots aren't falling. It's tough to win 4 games to get to the Final Four when you're a sub 30% three-point shooting team. But this St. John's team, not intimidated by anybody. They're going to lock you down defensively. And look, quite frankly, I think you can make a lot worse bets than backing the Johnnies at a price tag right around 7.5 or 8-1 to make it to the Final Four. The other team in Big Ten country that I think is starting to round into shape, and Greg Gard deserves a ton of credit because this isn't our grandparents' Wisconsin Badgers team. This is a Wisconsin team that can really score in the half court, and looking at their ability to comfortably get into the high 70s, low 80s on a regular basis, they may be a team that are able to check some boxes and provide a very difficult matchup if you believe in the Big Ten as a conference from top to bottom, where I know the jury is still very much out.
Did you see the end of the Illinois-Wisconsin game? I did not have volume up, Fuhrman, so I could not figure out what was going on, but Brad Underwood would not shake Greg Gard's hand. And I'm like, holy crap, what happened in this game? Well, it was only because Illinois had like the stomach flu tearing through the team, and he was telling him none of us are shaking hands. But at first I thought they were about to go at it nose to nose.
Hey, look, you love a little bit of that drama, and Brad Underwood does come from that Coach Huggins coaching tree, so you can understand why sometimes he can be a little bit ornery on the sidelines. And look, if I was the head coach of Illinois, given what we've seen from them over the last month, I'd be as frustrated as anybody as well. Unfortunately for Brad Underwood, he doesn't provide us that same caliber of soundbite like we're getting on a regular basis from Mick Cronin and his level of frustration with his UCLA Bruins this year.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Turned out no bad blood there. They just didn't want to get Wisconsin sick. It was actually a very nice move by Brad Underwood. Pritch Law says in the MyBookie.ag chat room, ask Fuhrman, I think South Carolina gets their first conference win tomorrow. They play host to Texas. Can you see it?
I mean, look, this is a Gamecocks team who has struggled mightily, but they had exceeded odds makers' expectations for quite a bit of time. They'll come into this game as a short underdog. I think this Gamecocks calling for the outright upset, not exactly going out on a limb, but I like the bold prediction. I have South Carolina about a 2.5 point dog here, so it would not surprise me at all with only 3 remaining home games. When you look at their schedule, you can make the case that the Gamecocks could win them all against Arkansas and Georgia, but I think they get Texas at the right time. So I actually like that prediction and have no problem backing South Carolina. But 4 would be the number that I need to bet them from an ATS perspective.
Fuhrman, under Bill Self, death taxes and Kansas winning Big 12 regular season championships, they're 6 games back of Houston right now. Obviously, they're dead in the water when it comes to that. Just not a great basketball team this year. And going into the season, a lot of people had them preseason number 1. What has happened to KU?
You begin to wonder if it's the Hunter Dickinson factor and the questions that surround his locker room chemistry and what he can add to some of the groups he's been with. And there's one thing about losing games, and there's another thing given what we saw from Kansas earlier this week in Provo. You figured coming off of that loss in Salt Lake City against Utah, 74-67. It can be a tricky place to play when you're not that familiar to playing at altitude. But to follow it up against BYU and never really be competitive in that game, I mean, we blinked, guys, and we saw BYU with a 25-14 lead right out of the gates, and the Cougars averaging more than 1.2 points per possession. I mean, they were able to get what they wanted when they wanted offensively, and it just feels like a Jayhawks team that we thought was going to be able to find an identity by this juncture in the season. Hasn't happened yet. Fortunately for them, very winnable games down the stretch. I mean, against Oklahoma State, Colorado on the road, and Boulder. We'll see if they perform better in altitude. They'll get a tricky spot at home against Texas Tech and Arizona, but you'd like to see Kansas kind of finish that 5-game stretch 4-1 or better if you're going to believe that they can actually be a capable, competent Big 12 team.
I saw today that Shedeur Sanders' draft stock is dropping. Are you seeing that reflected in the odds in Las Vegas? And do you know why it's starting to drop a little bit? Is it because the Titans are talking openly about maybe trading out of that number 1 overall position?
Haven't seen as much movement in terms of the betting odds. Those have remained largely unchanged. If you look at some of the prominent national books, and I can't speak to mybookie.ag, in terms of where they have the odds to be the first overall pick in the draft priced. But seeing Cam Ward widely available in that minus $1.30 to minus $1.40 range, you're looking at Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter right behind him, although there is quite a gap, and Shedeur Sanders in that 8 to 9 to 1 range. The one thing I can tell you out here in the desert is there's growing buzz that the Raiders are hoping Shedeur does happen to fall into their lap and can be the quarterback to lead this team. I think the big question is for the Tennessee Titans, do they believe that they can get a generational talent with that first overall pick? It's a franchise that has so many needs they need to fill on both sides of the ball that if somebody made a compelling offer to move up, they would be content to trade down. But I think at least the way things stand now, Shedeur has really fallen out of that conversation to be the number one pick in the draft. What's been surprising, though, guys, and I won't say for number one, is all the buzz around Jackson Dart that began around the Senior Bowl. You guys watch as much, if not more, SEC football than me. The fact that Jackson Dart could find himself as a first-round draft pick, rather surprising. But look, that's why I don't get paid as a talent evaluator. And there are some folks that are going to hitch their wagons to what Dart can do if his unique skill set can translate, even if I have a number of questions about his ability as a downfield thrower.
Yeah, I'm blown away by it.
Yeah, it's going to be a disaster. And I like Jackson Dart.
Yeah, Cam Ward is your favorite right now at mybookie.ag, minus 141. Abdul Carter, plus 164. Travis Hunter, plus 550. Shedeur Sanders, plus 650. And then there's Jackson Dart, plus 5,000 right in front of Jalen Milroe. I mean, he's got the fifth best odds right now, Fuhrman. It's crazy.
Yeah, a little bit surprising to me. And look, I understand that everyone believes a dual threat quarterback can always kind of catapult himself there. But you watch Dart in some of the biggest games. You back away some of the cupcakes on Ole Miss's schedule. And I have some real concerns about his ability to throw on the run, his overall level of accuracy. But there's a reason that these NFL coaches believe they can fix everyone. And maybe for Jackson Dart, the reason he should be most optimistic about his draft stock climbing is that some of his measurables, despite not having the wins and losses that Bo Nix did on his resume, could translate in that regard, and that somebody will think that Jackson Dart can translate to the next level the same way that Bo Nix did so well in his rookie season under Sean Payton.
BetTheBoardPodcast.com. That's the website, BetTheBoardPodcast.com, where you get Fuhrman on all the games. He's really good on NASCAR, too, and they're off the super speedway, so Fuhrman really dials in now. BetTheBoardPodcast.com, at Todd Fuhrman on social media. Fuhrman, thank you for the time. Have a great week.
Always a pleasure. And Brownie, don't spoil the party. We have one more super speedway we have to get through this weekend in Atlanta. My season doesn't officially start until we get road racing at COTA, but I have to wait for Dunaway to send me all of his winners first.
I didn't know you could. I didn't know Atlanta was a super speedway. Is that considered super speedway?
Yeah, they've got a restrictor plate now, don't they, to keep it under 200. It's a shorter track than you get in Talladega and Daytona, but it is so they can zoom over there.
So restrictor plate is your key, Fuhrman. You don't like the restrictor plate stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a minor super speedway. Ever since the repave, Atlanta went for being one of my favorite tracks to bet, being high tire wear. But they had to deal with the weepers and a lot of weather concerns that they've tried to create this pack racing that I know the casual fan loves, but from a betting standpoint, it's an absolute nightmare. But you're right, 1.5 mile track, tight confines. We'll see if we get a little bit more tire wear, but for now, it is one of the more difficult tracks to handicap. You wouldn't know that looking at the odds, though, with Ryan Blaney, the current favorite, right around 9.5 to 1.
Okay, there you go. Fuhrman, have a great weekend, man. Good talking to you.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen, and I apologize for the technological snafu.
Oh, please.
Once again, when in doubt, blame Dunaway.
That's
please.
Right.
We were kidding with you.
Thank you, Fuhrman. Fuhrman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Yeah, and the show brought to you by our friends at ImageCraft.
ImageCraft, Dunaway. Always pull it up because if you print a lot, that's who you want to use, man. ImageCraft, where you print more and you spend less. They specialize in low-cost printer and copier supplies. They've been doing it for a very long time, so they know the game. You could trust them. Free same-day delivery on everything in stock in the Birmingham metro area. Free shipping outside the Birmingham metro. All the major brands are there: HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, Xerox. If you are one of those companies that does a lot of printing, burns through a lot of paper, you need to use ImageCraft. ImageCraft.net is the website where, when you use coupon code TNR10, you get 10% off. In store, right there in Trussville, just down from Pinnacle Shopping Center on Gadsden Highway. Mention the next round. Get 10% off in store. ImageCraft.net. ImageCraft. Print more, spend less.
Pete Thamel reporting that Tennessee and Nebraska are canceling their upcoming series, which were scheduled for 2026 in Lincoln and 2027 in Knoxville. Driver of the move was Nebraska wanting 8 home games in 2027 when they expected reduced stadium capacity because of renovations. That led to Danny White, the athletic director, retweeting Pete Thamel saying, "Correction, Tennessee is not canceling this series. Nebraska did. We are very disappointed that they didn't want to play these games, especially so close to 2026. We'll talk about the changing schedule for the SEC potentially coming up in our next segment with more football and 4 downs. But right now it is time for the viewing menu. It is brought to you daily by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
And make that phone call today. You've been procrastinating, thinking if LASIK might be possibly right for you. Wear the contacts, you wear the glasses, you're wasting money each and every year. I'm speaking from experience. Make that call today, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is worth it for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Got a few options for you tonight. So tonight on the Paramount Network at 7 p.m., you can change over to the channel and see the best movie in a franchise, in my opinion, and that's Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. That's my favorite Indiana Jones movie.
You got to be kidding me. You think that's the best of that franchise?
I do. Melton agrees with me. He's not here to back me up, but he agrees with me.
The woman on there, what was her name?
Kate Upshaw. She was Spielberg's wife.
Oof, boy, she was annoying. The over-the-top stereotype of short round.
Little Asian fella, yeah.
Short round.
Yeah, I agree. I did not think it was.
Yeah, man, I cannot believe you think that's the best.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but going back and watching Raiders of the Lost Ark, it was incredible. It was one of those, like, journey, adventure films that I watched probably 10, 15 times. But I just don't enjoy it now.
Really? So it's not as good as when you were a kid. I always like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I like Temple of Doom the best, as I said, but it does get a little goofy towards the end.
Yeah.
The cliff with the...
Don't they fly a raft off the cliff?
Oh, no.
There's and there's supposed to be crocodiles in the water, but they're just American alligators because they filmed it in Florida.
Okay. Well,
details, I mean, you're not going to put crocodiles in the water.
I mean, you can go to where there's to where the crocodiles are. So you don't have to put anybody in the water.
Or I could do it for like a quarter of the budget and film it in Florida, and most people are not going to notice.
Yeah, well, I guess you didn't have CGI back then, but
true. Yeah. Also in theaters, it's got a limited run, but it's starting to get rolled out more, is a movie called Parthenope. An Italian woman searches for happiness during the long summers of her youth, falling in love with her city and its many memorable characters. It's in Italian with English subtitles.
Yeah. Oh, Dunaway and Brown will be there tonight.
It sounds like Emily goes to Paris, but it's whatever her name is goes to Italy.
Well, if you lose the bracket challenge, you can go see it with me.
I'll tell you, one of the best foreign films ever, though, is an Italian film. Cinema Paradiso. Have you ever seen it?
I haven't seen that one.
That's great.
Yeah. And by the way, just for the popcorn and Diet Cokes, that wouldn't be the worst punishment in the world for me.
What, going to movies?
Yeah, with him for a month.
But how many movies is the punishment?
You just wait until you stack up like a Norwegian movie with an anime in the same day. And then you'll be reconsidering.
Yeah, or Hard Eyes. What was Hard Eyes?
Oh, my gosh. It was like romantic comedy mixed with a slasher. It is the worst movie I've seen this year so far.
Like, do I have to be awake during these?
That's the thing. Cold, dark, and comfortable.
You've got to be present and reviewing all of these movies.
I'll be asleep. Yeah. I fall asleep during movies I want to watch. I can't imagine what I do in movies I have zero interest in.
So do you dress to sleep?
I don't dress. I very rarely go to the theater. I can't really, with great confidence, tell you the last time I've been to.
From what you've told us, you don't pay when you go either.
That was one time. Don't be like Lance now. When Lance gets one thing to hold on to, he will hammer you for the rest of your life on that.
Because his dog ran away, which I think is bigger than one little thing.
Yeah. No, the whole thing about not paying for the movie. I mean, you hammer
that. That's not just me. I mean, Dunaway hammers that too, right?
Yeah.
I do, yes.
I mean, there was nobody there selling tickets.
You had a dog run away?
I did have a dog run away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The key is that he ran away. He didn't go look for it.
His fly, and I'm sure there's somebody in this world that shares the philosophy. If the dog didn't want to be with Brown, then the dog had other plans.
I fed the dog. The dog had water. He had a nice place to live. He chose to live elsewhere. I was not going to force him back, against his will. I mean, we looked. How long are you supposed to look? I mean, I looked.
Until you find the dog.
Yeah, what if the dog's dead? I can't look forever.
Then you find a body.
Well, I mean, I don't know where I saw.
Yeah, sadly, a loud
I'm not
noise.
an Indian
a
tracker.
Firework, thunder. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes dogs freak out. They take off.
Yeah, I looked. Couldn't find him in the neighborhood.
Did you put up any posters?
Yes,
Anything?
I put up posters, Lance. I put up posters. Yes,
All right, I'm just checking. Also in theaters this weekend, you've got a movie called The Unbreakable Boy. When Scott and Teresa learn that their son Austin is autistic and has brittle bone disease, they initially worry about his future. However, with Scott's growing faith and Austin's incredible spirit, they become unbreakable as they find joy, gratitude, and courage.
Oh, that's
and it stars Zachary Levi.
That is the Michelson Laser Vision viewing menu there.
Boy, you're seeking out shit we don't want to see.
Well, I'm not seeing that last one. I will be seeing the Italian movie, though.
Make the phone call that I made more than 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the laser procedure in the state of Alabama in 1995. True pioneer. Call today. Tell them the next round sent to you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
And with the cold temperatures, still a good time to get out and do a little golf this weekend, Brownie.
It is always 70 degrees in the golf, as Jim Dunaway. There is never any weather there that you have to worry about. It's just Birmingham's best indoor golf simulators. And you can go to the Golfist right now and play the courses that you see on TV, the courses you've always wanted to play. Great team building, good time to get out of the office, great place to have a party. They got the TV so you can watch the games while you play at the Golfist. You can see everything I'm talking about at thegolfist.com. You can go out and see them for yourself right there on Highway 31 in Vestavia, Van Road just off Highway 11 in Trussville. And book a bay online, thegolfist.com. Get out of the office. Get into the Golfist, thegolfist.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to rhoback.com and click on the refreshed collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money. If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Some good information about scheduling and what's coming out of those SEC Big Ten meetings in just a second. I want to point out, when I mentioned Shedeur Sanders' stock dropping, I don't know why his stock is dropping, but you heard Fuhrman talk about it. He did say that there's a good chance he is not going to attend the draft in Green Bay because he says that he's going to have an event either in Colorado or Dallas. He wants to be around a lot of friends and family and can't get them all to the draft. And he says, I don't make it to where I've made it by myself, and I want to be with the people who help get me there.
I like that. Yeah.
And he's going to have an event and be with them instead of being with the commissioner on draft night.
You know, there will be the negative angle. He's he's playing it, he's hedging it in case he doesn't get drafted. I would be absolutely shocked if he fell out of the first round.
Oh, I mean,
no way.
We're not even talking about falling out of the top 15,
10,
right?
No, but I'm just saying that's exactly what people are going to say.
This whole Jackson Dart thing blows me away, though.
Yeah, he is. I mean, almost everyone is saying he will be the third quarterback taken off the board now.
Yeah, and if it's in the first round, it is a huge mistake. Huge mistake.
I agree.
I mean, I feel the same way, but here's one thing I've learned. There is no benefit to giving a hot take on NFL quarterbacks boom or bust. Because the NFL doesn't even know if they're going to be boom or bust. Why would I?
Yeah.
And, I mean, like Lance says, one of the hot takes he regrets the most is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, well, I don't regret it, but I think it's laughable.
It's
because
the most wrong you've ever been.
Oh, yeah. When he went 10 overall, I was like, what is Kansas City thinking? This guy was a 500 quarterback at Texas Tech.
But I do love, I mean, it is an easy thing to do. ESPN will do this for months now, boom or bust NFL draft quarterbacks. Guys, the NFL doesn't even know.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, the hard thing is label him a bust. Like Baker Mayfield was a bust, and now he's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. Sam Darnold was a bust. Now he might go the route of Baker Mayfield if he can follow up on last year.
I think I'm not great at it, but I've gotten 3 pretty good.
All right.
Kenny Pickett, I guess, is the most recent. You can't say that he wasn't a bust.
I mean, still not a bust yet. I mean,
he's a freaking first-round pick.
As of right now, he is, but I'm just saying.
He's a bust now, but we'll have to see his whole career.
Yeah.
He probably will end up being a bust.
I mean, if you would have told me 2 years ago, better chance of ultimately being a really good quarterback, Kenny Pickett, Baker Mayfield, or Sam Darnold, I would have taken Pickett.
Sam Howell, is that his name, from North Carolina, went in the first round?
Yep.
I thought that was a joke. And then way back in the day, didn't E.J. Manuel, a nice guy.
Buffalo Bills.
Great broadcaster, but didn't he go to the Buffalo Bills first round?
Because he had big hands.
Yeah.
They thought it would be good in the weather.
Those 3, I was like, now I'm apparently going to be wrong. I put Drake May into that category, so this could be.
This is the time you're wrong.
This could be the one I'm wrong on because everyone's loving some Drake May at New England.
Was there never one you thought was going to be really, really good that you missed on, though?
Oh, Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so you're just saying the bust you missed on. Like there were some you thought would be booms that you missed.
I thought Jamarcus Russell would be fantastic.
Did you think Jameis would be good?
I was not a big Jameis fan, so he's turned out to be, I guess, exactly what I don't know. If I had opinion, I knew I didn't want him to go to Tampa Bay, and he did.
Yeah.
I thought Tua would be better than he's been. I thought Bryce would be a lot better than he's been.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You're right. It's all over the place, but it does seem like Jackson Dart would fall into the Kenny Pickett overstretch column just from what I've seen in college.
Yeah.
All right. Show being brought to you by the great folks at Storm Restoration Roofing. Then we'll talk a little SEC scheduling, get the 4 downs. Greg from Pell City would love to schedule a time to come out and get on your roof to give you a free no-cost roof inspection, absolutely free. 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Insurance providers, they trust him because he's been working with a lot of the same folks for 20 years, locally owned here, so that helps. He also has some information for you about your insurance policy that when it comes to your older roof that may help you with your coverage, or you actually getting covered at all, or getting the maximized amount about that. Greg has told me he'd love to talk to you about that just as a customer service. 205-542-3531, storm damage, new roof replacement, and, of course, that free roof inspection. 205-542-3531, Storm Restoration Roofing, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. Real quickly, great point that I think we talked about earlier this week on why the SEC would go to 9 games. My buddy Siski, who I saw do this on a social media post, Siski and McCready, talking about the Big Ten SEC Challenge. That also is another game you don't have to schedule. So a 9th SEC game, I know we talked about this one, that's more money coming from your TV provider for another weekend of conference games, and that saves you $1 million on scheduling a team to come play you. Same thing with the Big Ten SEC schedule. That's another weekend you don't have to pay somebody to come play at your home stadium.
It's another loss for a lot of teams, though.
Yeah,
well, half of them.
But it's another $1 million payout to a Sun Belt team to come in and play, or whomever to come in and play.
That you can use for NIL now.
And you're actually getting paid to as so now you're taking 2 deficits that you're having to pay out, and you're turning those into 2 profits coming in of the TV providers giving you more money. So it seems like a no-brainer. Tougher schedules, yes, but that's why the automatic bids become important.
Yeah, tougher schedules in an era where a tough schedule doesn't necessarily penalize you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I still don't know about the 9 games. I know there's a lot of talk about that, but there has not been any support for that. I just don't know why.
I think that has changed now, Brown.
I don't know. Has it among the coaches, though?
I think it has if they are guaranteed. If they're guaranteed, we're going by the conference standings to get into the college football playoffs or to get into the Super Saturday top 6 in the standings, then playing 9 conference games in 8 doesn't really change it because it's all about just playing the conference games.
If I present it the way Lance just presented it, though, to a head coach, if I go to the head coach and I say, look, I get 9 conference games is going to be a lot. Let me just explain it to you before you say no. You be Sam Pittman. Let me explain it to you before you say no. Okay. You're sleepy, Sam.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Sleepy Sam Pittman. You can absorb more losses now, make the college football playoffs. We're going to get more money from ESPN, Greg tells me, when we go to the bargaining table if we had a 9th game. And by the way, that 9th game keeps me from having to pay a Sun Belt team, Arkansas State, to come in here and play us. We pay them, Sam, $1.25 million to come in here and play. That's money that we can have available for NIL. That's money we can have available for, your support staff. So before you say no, think of it that way.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm already playing 8 against the best teams in all of college football. If we're to go this route, like if every game over 500 in conference play, we're going to add a year on my contract?
Yeah, there's probably going to be some give and take on stuff like that. Lance is right, Jim, that to convince the coaches, they're probably going to say, okay, but you understand I'm significantly adding a degree of difficulty to my contract, so let's address, or to my job, so let's address that in my contract.
So who does this benefit more, the bottom feeders or people at the top?
Which one, adding a 9th game?
Yeah, adding a 9th game. Like, are you less scared if you're Sark and Kirby?
I don't think it really benefits anybody. I think it's less penalizing to the ones at the top.
Yeah, benefits the athletic directors.
Yeah.
To really try to get a little bit more revenue.
I say it benefits the program.
Benefits the fans, better games.
Yeah. It doesn't benefit the coach. It doesn't really benefit the team.
If you can get a quality quarterback for $1 million or $2 million, and you are saving that, that's the way I would justify it.
Can Forrester, can you give me Alabama's schedule? Who are the crappy games this year? There's always 2 games that, as much as I love Alabama, I don't want to go see. So it's going to be week 2. Is that Louisiana Monroe? I mean, these logos are so small. Louisiana Monroe, and then at the end, is that Georgia State, maybe? Yeah, those is week 2 and then the week before the Iron Bowl, those 2 games. If I lose one of those for another SEC game, I mean, yeah.
And that is it's Eastern Illinois, by the way.
It's what?
Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, even worse.
That's Eastern Illinois.
I'd rather watch
Alabama
Georgia.
schedule?
I'd rather watch Georgia State.
Oh, that's BS. Alabama's not playing.
No, they're playing Eastern Illinois. Yeah. Tony Romo ain't walking through that door.
Sean Payton ain't walking through that door.
Yeah,
Alabama's playing Eastern Illinois.
La Monroe in Eastern Illinois.
Can you give me the mascot of Eastern Illinois?
The Panthers.
By the way, I had them last night in hoops.
Did you now? The Panthers.
Easy winner. It is the Panthers.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
They used to play Jack State. Yeah.
Okay.
Believe it or not, Jack State.
Do you think the Panther is indigenous to?
I do not. In the
to Carbondale or wherever.
In the musical chairs of Jacksonville State conferences, they were once in a conference with Eastern Illinois.
He was asking me, Brown, on this mock-up schedule we have here, that little teeny tiny logo. I was going to go Musketeer, so I was wrong. Wrong there. So that's my point. Better schedules. Now, Brown, you've had some thoughts about this possible enhanced championship Saturday.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, there's a lot of talk going around about the enhanced championship Saturday, where you'd still have an SEC championship game, which would be your top 2 seeded teams playing for an SEC championship. Both those teams are already in the playoffs
in Atlanta still.
But you would determine your other 2 guaranteed playoff spots and 3 in the standings, playing 6 in the standings on the home field of number 3.
Yeah. Last year, South Carolina at Tennessee.
4 in the standings, playing 5 in the standings.
Ole Miss at Alabama last year.
On the home field of number 4. Winners get the guaranteed spots. We talked about this yesterday. Somebody from the Southeastern Conference, in the Southeastern Conference world is probably a better way of me saying that. In the Southeastern Conference world says, hey, look, I like the idea, too. It's kind of fun, but there's not going to be a huge appetite for a 3 that has earned that spot as the number 3, having to play the number 6 to still get in. They said, now, I would not completely write off the idea of 4 versus 5, but I think it might actually be a Friday night game leading into championship weekend. So Friday night on that campus leading into championship
weekend. Wait
a
second. You're telling me 3 would be locked in and not have to play in the 1-2 game?
1 and 2 are locked in too.
Yeah, but they're having to play a game.
Well, I mean,
3. I'm 3. I'm in, but I don't have to play a game.
But they're playing for.
Sign me up.
They're playing for a top 4 seed. I mean, there is still something on the line for that. The top 4 seed.
Not necessarily. We're going to get rid of those automatics. We're going to get rid of those automatics.
When is the SEC champion not going to be a top 4 seed?
Yeah, but
you paint that picture.
Technically, I still could be as a third place team. I could be a top 4 team. If they're not automatic.
No, I mean not.
I'm at least going to get a home game.
Not when the conferences are ranked. Well, so is the 2 seed. The 2 seed's going to be ranked in front of the 3 seed when it's all said and done.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
The conferences control all this. You know that.
Yeah.
So there's not a scenario where the 3 seed is going to be in a better position than the 1 or 2.
Oh, but I played 1 less game.
Well, that is the scenario. Yes. Yeah. And you ask Georgia, who lost their starting quarterback in an SEC championship game this year, how important that could be.
Yeah. That will continue the debate if we do it that way. That would continue the debate of, do I really want to be in the 1-2 game? Is a conference championship that important to me? It was a great atmosphere last year in Atlanta.
It was eventually. It was not to start the game.
But it probably hurt Georgia's chances. Though Carson Beck gave the football away about as much as he did his Lamborghini and his Mercedes down in South Florida. Turnover is always a problem. Thank you, Vern Funquist.
Do they beat Notre Dame with Carson Beck? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know.
I didn't think Gunnar Stockton played all that bad against Notre Dame.
I think they do.
But it's not one of those where I'm like, oh my God, they beat them with Carson Beck.
Yeah, but it would be weird that 1 and 2's having to play a game on Saturday, 4 and 5's having to play a game for a spot on a Friday night, and 3 is just sitting at home. No fun, no risk of injury, but no enjoyment, no upside, no downside.
The risk of injury is the only thing. Like playing for the conference champion. Now you got to keep in mind this is coming from the SEC world, where being SEC champion still matters.
Oh, it matters to me a great deal, and that's why that and I understand 3 is not going to have an appetite for playing 6. Perfect. Be 2. Don't be 3. That adds another level of excitement to final couple of weeks of the SEC schedule.
I think their thinking, though, Jim, is The 6 has had all season to be the 3. Why boil it down to one game? How fair is that?
Yeah, well.
You earned your spot as the number 3. Number 6, who's had all season to be who you are, can't do it, so now I'm going to make it one game?
Well, it's pretty crappy when I'm the 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. I got to play that stinky little 14. I've had all season. I beat my head against the SEC wall all year, and now I've got to play Vermont.
Yeah.
And they're going to roll out some 6'9" guy
who scores 33 a game.
Yeah, who's going to hit a 7-footer all day long on me. Nobody shoots 7-footers in the SEC, but this little Ivy League wannabe is going to sit here and drop them on me. Yeah, I mean, it's what happens in the NFL. I mean,
I get it. I'm just
somebody had to go
you.
play Tampa Bay this past year.
I get your argument, but I'm just telling you that if that thought process is there, it's probably coming from the ADs and the coaches. Why would we play all season to get the number 3, and then I have to play one game to actually get in the playoffs?
You played all season and ended up with the number 3 because you weren't good enough to be the 2. That's why you've got to host the 6.
Well, I'm just
and you're better off than the 4 hosting the 5.
You sell that to athletic directors and coaches, apparently.
I'm just telling you, it's a great TV product.
I do not disagree with that.
6 versus 3. I mean, you can put one on Friday night if you want to.
Oh, yeah. I'd like one on Friday night.
Yeah. But you can put one. You put 6 versus 3 on Friday night and then go 5 versus 4
I think the rest
at a game day and then afternoon for the SEC championship.
I think the rest of that is what that probably tells you is there's not as much money in doing that enhanced Saturday as we think there is. Otherwise, there would be much more of an appetite for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Be huge in the TV rating. So, all right, 4 Downs every day brought to you by our friends at Slice. Wonderful folks here. Great family business. It's been that way since day one, LT.
Yeah, get into one of those 5 great locations of Slice, the original in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. Newest location in Edgewood. Local pizza, local ingredients. Get a slice and a salad today. Pick up a couple of pies on your way home, from the Hot Mama to the Soul Pie. You're going to love it. For more information and to check out that entire menu, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Championship first. And we kind of talked about this as we were going off the air yesterday. Victor Wembanyama is going to be out for the remainder of the NBA season with that blood clot in the right shoulder. But if I asked you, does he win a championship first, or I'll give you the combination of Jaden Daniels with the Commanders and Caleb Williams with the Bears?
I mean, the Commanders back when they were the Redskins was a great organization. They won a lot of Super Bowls, 3 of them, I think.
It's been 34 years.
Yeah, but it's been a long time. But they got a good organization. Again, they got young talent. They got a quarterback. The Bears have won 1 in my lifetime. They've sucked most of the other time. I trust the Commanders organization more.
40 years for the Bears.
But that Spurs organization, on the other hand, different forms and fashion has brought winning to San Antonio on the reg. Nothing else in that town. It matters to the people there. I'm going to go, they put it together. Probably not with the old guy coaching the next generation of him, one of his
Pop's replacements.
Yeah, one of Pop's replacements. But I'm going to go Wemby wins one in San Antonio.
They don't fear that this could be more than just him missing the rest of the year, do they?
I haven't heard that at all.
Yeah.
And, you just went out and you got De'Aaron Fox, who's one of the best young guards in all of basketball that nobody talks about because he was in Sacramento.
So he's young, too. I didn't know his age.
I mean, De'Aaron's probably 26, I'm guessing. But you bring in somebody else, one more piece. And I did see the Spurs, they've got a 6% chance of getting the number 1 overall.
Yeah.
And they've got like an 80% chance or 90% at getting a top 10. So they're going to get another piece they're going to add this year.
Not having Wemby will help them in the draft lottery.
Yeah, so a good time to set down Wemby. So I can have Wemby, De'Aaron Fox, and possibly a 6% chance at Cooper Flag, or one of the Rutgers kids, or a
some
great
European kid that you've not watched.
Ace Bailey, Harper. One of those guys.
I'll take the Spurs.
I think I would take Spurs because Wembanyama is that good.
Yeah, I'll take the Spurs.
Maybe the best defensive player in basketball.
Somebody told me when you watch the Spurs, it looks like Wemby is CG'd. Like he doesn't even. He's not even a real player out there. It's just like computer graphics.
And he's missized.
Exactly. They didn't size it right.
To ever show me the videos was Jace, like 4 or 5 years ago. You got to check this kid out from France. And I was like, man, this has got to be CGI, some of the things that he was doing.
Yeah.
Like there's no way this guy can be this long, this athletic, shoot it like that. But yeah, he's going to be fantastic if, in fact, he can stay healthy.
Second down.
Okay, what happens first? I'm going to give you the combination of these 3 schools. Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee. One wins it in basketball or one wins it in football, the national championship.
The national championship?
Yeah. What happens first? Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee basketball, or Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee football?
I will tell you, and this is a future The Basketball Show topic, but I think the phrasing we're going to get on Selection Sunday is Auburn Duke versus the field. I think that's what you'll get. It won't be just Auburn versus the field or Duke versus the field. I think everyone will say Auburn Duke versus the field. Where would you go right now? Auburn Duke versus the field.
I think I would go the field. I wouldn't feel great about it, though.
Yeah, but you always go the field when it's two teams or something like that.
So that close for Auburn in basketball this year.
I'm still going to take football.
Well,
just
but here's
because,
the thing.
Again, I've seen it.
He just gave us potentially 3 1 seeds in this year's tournament right
I'm
there.
definitely giving you 3 of the top 8 teams.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah. I'm giving you basically, and really, how often do 3 and deeper seeds win this? I guess more often than you would imagine. But.
Yeah, this is easier to do in football, but I think I'm going to go basketball. Just because of how good those 3 teams are in basketball this year. They're top 2 seeds. Easy.
Yeah.
They lose the rest of their games. They're top 2 seeds.
Yeah. The problem with our philosophy here is, I'll give you 2 problems with our philosophy.
All right, number 1,
Duke, and number 2 is Florida.
It's the other 1 seed we're not factoring in.
But
so who would you take?
I think I'll take basketball.
I'm going to take football.
Yep.
Wow.
Which one? Alabama?
Yeah.
There's so much Alabama in you.
So much. I can't shake it.
Yeah.
Third down.
Jennifer Love Hewitt, by the way, back in the day, strong.
JLH?
Yeah. 46 years old today.
Uh-huh.
Oh, from Party of 5, Jennifer Love Hewitt? Yeah.
So Jennifer Love Hewitt or Courtney Love?
Little bit of a butterface,
Jennifer Love
though?
Hewitt.
Well, I mean,
I think so, yeah. I think bit of a butterface. I would agree.
Oh, I don't know about that. It's kind of a mousy face. I wouldn't go butterface.
I don't like mousy faces.
Yeah, it's not a...
Can I get a little Jennifer Love Hewitt, please?
Instead of Bruce Pearl?
I never would have called her a butterface, but
yeah, I think butterface is a bit of an overstatement.
Butterface is everything butterface.
That is
right?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. There was one point you thought it was somebody that was a little bit chunky because you like butter. You thought that was a butterface.
Now we need young Jennifer Love Hewitt. Something when she was like
go down. Yeah,
when she was like an angel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably a little creepy if you go Party of 5. Jennifer Love
yeah,
Hewitt.
top left and the pink's fine. I mean, that's probably 25.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, the headline for the article that picture is linked to is called Jennifer Love Hewitt was asked gross questions about her body.
Yeah.
Well, those aren't real.
Yeah.
I think they are, actually.
Oh,
Scroll down.
I think they are.
Those are not real.
At one point, they are. Yeah, absolutely.
Those right there are not real.
Right there.
Yeah. Which one right there?
Right there. The one where he's got the cursor.
Okay.
That's
you
probably...
may be able to see through that top.
No,
That's
see,
probably prime Jennifer Love Hewitt right
Those
there.
are real. I think she backed those down a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Firmed them up.
Okay. That Jennifer Love Hewitt right there, that is...
Yeah, that ain't a butterface.
That is
man.
prime. That is not. That is not.
I'll pick her because she didn't kill Kurt Cobain. Back to
I was just
yesterday's
asking.
Did not kill Kurt Cobain.
Who did
that
have
is
the
true.
better career? Now, Courtney Love still, or she sold a lot of their music, right? She did have the rights to a lot of
she
Nirvana.
owned the rights to a lot of Nirvana, and she took that money and all that clout and turned it into her band Hole, which kind of had some success.
Doll parts.
She was able to get on Letterman when Scott was there.
Yeah. I would say this about Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Scott said she was beautiful. Radiant, I think he called her.
I was a big Party of 5 fan back
Did
in
I
the
say
day.
that?
He did not say that. Would you
I don't
describe
think
her
I
as
said
radiant?
that at all.
And she was a pain in the ass to Bailey on Party of 5.
Never watched Party of Five.
I loved it. Loved it.
I think they brought it back a few years ago.
Yeah. Did not watch the reboot. I'm just saying I loved it back then. It would be horrible to watch now. Tough situation for those kids.
It was just a bunch of whiny kids, wasn't it?
Yeah, but she was the girlfriend to Bailey. And, so what? He'd like to have a couple of cocktails as a high schooler who lost his parents.
But what was crazy is like Nev
Get
Campbell.
off his ass, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Nev Campbell got all the headlines, but she, again, not Butterface, but Jennifer Love Hewitt and Lacey Chabert were better looking than her.
Yes, eventually, yes.
Yeah.
And during the show, they were
like 8 and 9 years old.
Kids. They were kids, yeah. But yes. Fourth down?
Fourth down.
Kelsey Grammer, 70 years old today. Better career, Kelsey Grammer or Nelly?
Oh, gosh. What a weird combo.
I'm going country grammar. I mean, there's a grammar
type,
in Nellie's catalog, and there's Kelsey Grammer.
I thought you were going to go favorite Kelsey Grammer or Travis Kelsey.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
I always liked Frazier though.
I mean, he was good on Cheers, good on Frasier. That's one of the most successful spinoffs in TV history is Frasier.
Yep, and he kept his career going with X-Men. He plays a Beast, the big blue guy.
He did, not The Judge. I forgot what it was called. There was a Showtime. It was supposed to be pretty good with Kelsey Grammer. I never saw it.
He also did Periscope Down. You remember that slapstick submarine movie that he was in? Yeesh.
Was it Submarine Pink?
It was not Pink, I don't believe, but it was.
I think Lauren Holly did Your Move. With the short.
Yeah. Lauren Holly was in that.
Does something with the periscope.
Yep, she does. Lauren Holly was the female on the sub.
Better when females do it, though.
Yes.
And Donald Sutherland.
Much better when Lauren Holly does it.
Yeah. Jim, you got everything on but your pants.
Hey, so would that be the number one?
Pants.
The number one spinoff in television history?
I don't know that any has been more successful.
I mean, Better Call Saul was great, but it wouldn't be as successful as Frasier.
No, not as successful as Frasier. I'm trying to think.
I can't think
of anything unless maybe there was a spinoff of I Love Lucy that did just as well, but I don't think so.
I think they spun off the Mertz. No joke, and it was a disaster. I think.
It was I Love Lucy, and then it was the Lucille Ball show, or she kept it going, and it was successful because she kept it going. The Mertz were still involved.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you would call. Yeah. Like, Curb wasn't a spinoff from Seinfeld.
No, that's a totally different thing.
Nope.
And it's still probably, I don't know, well, I guess it might match or surpass Frasier. Frasier's back. They rebooted it. I haven't seen the reboot.
Oh, I haven't either.
I don't think the reboots ever worked.
I never loved that show, to be honest with you.
I really didn't either. I wasn't a huge Frasier fan.
You were just raving about it.
No, I wasn't.
No? I thought you were talking about
he just said that it was
one of the most successful spinoffs of all time.
Yeah. I didn't really love
Cheers
either.
I like Frasier.
I like Cheers now. Yeah.
I did like Sam Malone and Woody, but
Did Mad About You spin off in one of those? No,
don't think so.
Yeah. All right, that's Four Downs, brought to you by our friends. By the way, I go with not Kelsey Grammer, the other side of that.
You go with Nelly.
Nelly, yeah.
I think I would probably go Nelly as well.
Hot in here?
Yep.
Nelly?
Indeed it is,
I
Jim.
didn't do it?
Yep.
It wasn't me?
No,
that was Shaggy.
Damn it. Shaggy. I like Shaggy better than Nelly.
I didn't do it.
I mean,
it wasn't
one name, 5 letters, right?
Yeah. Four Downs brought to you by our friends at Slice.
5 great locations. Get into one of those this weekend. Local pizza, local ingredients, created by the late Jeff Bajaya, his brothers Jason and Chris. Continue to celebrate his legacy. For more information and to view that menu, slicebirmingham.com.
Okay, Aaron Boone has a contract extension. Congratulations to Aaron. Best thing I saw in baseball yesterday at spring training was Juan Soto. Juan Soto for the number 22. He got it for free, jersey number 22. And because Brett Beatty, who already wore 22 for the Mets, said, you can just have it. He didn't want anything for it.
I like that.
Yeah. And so they started doing a little research. Juan Soto said, man, that guy has an old beat-up 4Runner that he's been driving since high school. He's a New York Met. He's 25 years old. I'm going to get him a new car. They did a little research. He wanted a Tahoe. He got him a souped-up, high-end black Chevy Tahoe, gave it to him for free for that number. There's a scene yesterday at Mets camp.
Wow.
Pretty awesome.
Do you kind of know, hey, man, there's a chance. I'm just going to give him the number.
Yeah,
and
we'll see what he does.
I might get gifted something. Or he saw that really bad movie from Ron Shelton, The Fan, where Benicio del Toro didn't want to give his number up to Wesley Snipes.
Yep.
And do you remember what happened? Robert De Niro cut it off of him. But he had a tattoo, remember, of the number.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Burns coming up here when we come back. Champy's Chicken bringing you this hour. Highway 119 in Alabaster, champyschicken.com. My apologies to Peter Burns. We're late for a break here. If you're late for lunch, it's open all the time after 11 o'clock on Highway 119 in Alabaster, champyschicken.com. Brined overnight, cooked to order. Sterling's the best. Go check it out. It's champyschicken.com. My bad, Peter.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of NextRoundLive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
SEC Media Day is coming up. That's usually when we bump into our guy Peter Burns in person, unless, of course, he's in town for, I don't know, women's and men's golf at Greystone or Shoal Creek, or he's at the Met for the SEC baseball tournament. Sometimes I think they should have put the SEC network here in Birmingham.
Oh, I would sign up for that.
Me too.
Peter Burns. He's almost a Birminghamian, according to Dunaway. What is up, Burns? How are you?
Do I have to pay? Is that one of those deals where I don't have to pay the state income tax like Alabama is starting to do the that for the student athletes?
Not
Can
yet.
we set that up?
We would like to set it up.
Yeah, we're actually trying to get it for every citizen as well.
So that's what I was wondering. Like when I saw that, they're like Georgia did it first, and Alabama was like that. I'm like, man, if I'm a firefighter, like a police officer, if I'm a teacher, I'd be like, wait a minute, like hold up, just one second.
Yeah.
But it just means more, gentlemen. Hello.
Yeah, you could live in Birmingham, right?
Oh, I love Birmingham.
Yeah.
Like I never so the studios are here in Charlotte, and I like Charlotte. It's fine. Like it's a great airport, but outside of that, like it's nice being in our footprint, because like whenever we go, like you guys go out or in town, like you people know who you are, and you can have conversations about what's going on in Birmingham and Alabama and that stuff. Like you walk around here in Charlotte, and there's so many people that moved from different places, or they live from the ACC world. So you rarely will see the logos of any like SEC schools. So I mean it's kind of nice to a certain extent, but I would much prefer being kind of like in the SEC footprint for sure.
So you are in the ACC footprint at times. It's like a mixture. How did the ACC folks react to everybody singing the praises of the SEC having maybe the best basketball conference we've ever seen for a single year? Did we lose Bernsey? Did he freeze?
Oh, did we?
Oh, you're back. You're back. Start over. Start your answer over.
Cool.
Yeah.
And again.
Wow. Rough Zoom day.
Yeah.
Peter had his hand up, though, like he's...
Yep. We'll try to connect back with Peter Burns at some point here, hopefully here.
Did I lose?
Yeah.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Am I good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, this is good technology. This is why you guys only have me on once every like 6 months now. Because I can't afford the dial-up internet here. No, it is weird because we had Garth Glitzman on from the league office today talking about how good SEC hoops are, and then I look at it and I'm like, the ACC used to reign supreme right now, and you got Duke and maybe Clemson, and outside of that, it's crazy. And is it wild to say that the SEC's weakest sport right now in the major sports is college football?
Ooh.
Is that? I mean, it sounds weird to say, right? But I mean,
nobody played for the national championship.
Basketball, historic season. Think about the runs that women's hoops have had. Softball, especially now that Oklahoma's in here. Baseball has always been king. Gymnastics has been incredible. I mean, you look at all the sports right now. Is football the weakest link in all of the major sports? I mean, that's wild to say, but it might be.
God.
Okay, so give me a team that is, outside the top 10, top 15 in the SEC that you have the most confidence in making a Final Four run. And I'll just run through the handful: Missouri, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Ole Miss.
Missouri is that team that's so crazy, guys. I mean, you look at. I mean, I know we look at it. They didn't win a single conference game last year, but the way that Caleb Grill is an absolute assassin. Tamar Bates has been crazy good. Mark Mitchell coming from an ACC school over in Duke, and now he's put up 25. And it's just seems like they're having fun. I think there's two teams right now that are having a blast. I think Missouri basketball is one of them, and I think Auburn. It just seems like the vibes are good. And I go back and look at the two other contenders we talked about, national title guys, is Alabama and Tennessee. And I look at Alabama right now as a team that's scuffling a little bit, and almost like the body language seems a little bit off. And the same thing with Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee, if they don't win that second half against Vanderbilt and they lose that game, I also kind of wonder if the wheels would start getting a little bit of loose on that squad. So they got all the talent in the world, but Missouri, to me, Lance, is the team that just nobody gives a proper respect to, and they're damn good. And Dennis Gates is a hell of a coach.
This ending schedule for Alabama, we knew what it was going to be. And you start with a loss at Auburn, loss at the Missouri team you're talking about, loss at home to Auburn, at Missouri. Now the easiest game left happens to be 17th-ranked Kentucky tomorrow. It seems like a pivotal game for this Alabama team because you still have Mississippi State, Tennessee on the road, Florida, and Auburn left out there. It seems pretty important tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just more of just kind of how do you not make sure you don't backslide? Because I think with Oates, and I think that's why he gets so passionate, is that he knows how good this team is. Like, I remember watching Saban when he would win national championships, and he would get so fired up, but that's also the teams that he knew that they were going to win a title. And you could remember the teams that he didn't think that were very good. He was almost like a kinder, gentler Saban and kind of coached them up and wasn't as upset because he knew. And I think that goes to show you how strong Nate Oates thinks this team can be. So, I mean, with no Lamont Butler, no Jackson Robinson, if they go into T-Town and bring that losing streak to 3, I think all of a sudden you do have to worry a little bit. You have to worry about a team that, hey, you have all these great playmakers, but even, Oates talked about it, Jim, a couple of days ago, saying he needed to change the lineup after the Auburn game because he said, quote, I needed to get more playmakers on the court at the same exact time. Like, they're trying to figure out their rotation is right now. And I don't know. It just, does it look to you like they're having fun? And I know fun is an overrated word that we use in sports. Like, hey, does a team vibe? But I think there's a serious vibe issue going on with Alabama compared to how I see other teams right now.
Yeah, it's almost like they're inside their own head. They're having to think about no turnovers, think about this shot, that shot. What am I supposed to be doing defensively? It's not coming easy to them. It's almost like they're inside their head, and that's why tomorrow is so important. You can free it up with one big win against Kentucky, and everything could be back to all good.
Yeah, I mean, Amari Williams has been great for Kentucky, but I mean, I think the size should be a big issue with them, and frankly, they're not great. I mean, they don't have the point guard play, and that's why it's interesting. I want to see Alabama play some defense against a Kentucky team that, frankly, is going to struggle with turnovers tomorrow, especially over in Coleman. So I like Alabama to bounce back in that game right now. But I want to, you guys haven't talked about it. I know we've been talking hoops. What are we thinking about this championship weekend, the re-envisioning the championship, weekend for football wise?
So
y'all dove into that?
Yeah. We were in fact just talking about it in the last hour because somebody in the SEC world, Peter, told me that while the 4-5 game, that's got some legs. They don't think there's an appetite in the conference for a 3-6 game. Because the 3 would have played all season and earned that spot. Why should it come down to a 1 game against what could be an 8-4 team that's in the 6th spot? Yeah. So, I mean, from a consumer point of view, I'm fine with it. I'd love it. It's nothing but good TV. But I kind of see that side of it.
The only way I would see that you would add, like the idea of a 1 versus 8, 2-7, 4-5, 3, like that's dead on arrival. That no way in hell that thing is going to. That's almost like when you ask for a bunch of stuff in negotiation and then all right, I'll dwindle it down so the other idea seems really good. So I love the idea of 4-5 having to play. I've said that for years. Like, what if you had a challenge weekend, the last weekend of college football, that's like, hey, if you're outside looking in, a way to play one more time. I'm all in on that. I'm in on the 3-6 being involved as well, only if we go to a 16-team college football playoff and there's 3 at-large bids after the automatic qualifier. So that makes sense. But if you're going to go to only a 14-team playoff, and you're right, if you're a 3 seed, you're safely in there. You're Tennessee. Why the hell do you want to play another game when you've already got your spot? No, I don't think that's going to fly. But I'm all in for the 4-5, adding 1 extra game.
I would tell you because you didn't finish second. So, yes, you have to play in the 3-6 game because you didn't finish second. That would be my answer.
Jim is the strict parent. He doesn't let you get away with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's fine because, A, you could win the game and then it doesn't matter. Or if you lose a game in a close game, maybe you are the at-large bid. But we don't know how that's going to play out. I ultimately say that you can – it's once you grow, you're not gonna go back. So I would rather, if you're going to decide to do that, say, listen, we're going to add 1 game. It'll be the 4-5. We'll do it for a couple of years, see how that plays out. And then if you do indeed want to go and add, hey, let's add 3-6 because we've seen that, you could do it down the road. Plus, by the time that if you added an additional game, let's say 5-6 years down the road, then you could probably recalibrate with your television partners and ask for a boatload more money when it comes down to it.
Okay, Burns, because you transitioned to football, Dunaway brought us an exercise a couple of days ago. We're going to play it with you. So we're looking for the next head coach to win his first national championship. The way this will work is we will throw 6 names out, but you have to slot these 1 through 6.
In real time.
In real time. So once you hear a name, and Dunaway, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to go on and slot
Instagram. You've seen it before. You've got 10 things it's throwing out, and you got to, okay, the cheeseburger is a snack. I'm going to put that 4th because I love cheeseburgers, but there may be something better out there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So you're going to give me 6 names of coaches who have not won a title. I've got to rank them. Can I write them down and then rank them? Or
but you got to rank them in real time.
You got to rank them as they come out. Like you'll see after the first one.
Like if you had said Ryan Day last year, you'd have to say, I'll put Ryan Day number 3. You don't know what's coming next.
Here we go. First name on the list, James Franklin.
Oh, I'm going to give him 5.
All right, James Franklin is in the 5 hole.
Marcus Freeman.
Marcus Freeman coming in at 3.
All right.
Brian Kelly.
LSU.
Number 1.
Oh. We have tapped into Louisiana Peter Burns. It's a Louisiana Saturday night.
You know what we tapped into? We tapped into Bryce Underwood saying, screw you guys, I'm going to Michigan, and then LSU getting pissed and then saying, fine, we're going to spend all that money on transfer portal guys, but actually is better than Bryce Underwood.
So can we pause right there real quick? Because that we've talked a lot about that they really own the transfer portal in the SEC, which this day and age, used to, Peter, if you had like a top 2 signing class, that would amp up the pressure, but everybody was like, yeah, but they got to develop. You get a top transfer portal class, and it's like, buddy, you got to deliver right now for me.
Well, and you don't want to be Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss.
That's right.
Where you're like, hey, you win all come to the SIP, and all of a sudden you lose to Kentucky. And then you go back to your boosters and be like, all right, one more year. And the boosters like, man, I don't know. Like LSU's pissed off. They're ready to go.
Yeah.
So I got him slotted at 1.
All right, you got the even numbers left.
Wait,
2, 4, and 6.
Do you spell your name like this?
Bjorn.
Beauxrns.
Yes, I'm in for that. Well, my daughter's name is Bo, and it's Beaux.
That's right.
We got to do the Cajun spell.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Next on the list, Alabama's Kalen DeBoer.
Ooh, I got 2, 4, and 6.
2, 4,
left.
and 6.
I'm gonna put him at. I'll put him at 2.
Rammer Jammer, I hear you.
Okay.
Dan Lanning.
Here's where it gets difficult.
Dan Lanning, I'm going to put him at 4, and then whoever. What are you going to have at 6?
Well, you know what's coming.
The $12 million man.
Steve Sarkisian.
Sark, so you've got him at 6.
Hey, it's okay, Peter. I had Kelly at 1. I had DeBoer 2, Freeman 3, Franklin 4, Sark 5, and Dan Lanning 6. I'm right there with you on Brian Kelly.
Okay. I mean, I'm in there. Now, again, we had this conversation earlier today on our show with me and Chris Doring. Everybody wants to talk about Arch Manning, and there's no doubt there's as much hype about him. But I think there's more hype about him nationally. But I think internally in our SEC world, I'm much more interested to see what DJ Lagway is going to do this upcoming season for Florida than I am what Arch Manning is going to do for Texas. Like, I already feel like I know that Arch is going to be good. But I think the entire program and Billy Napier's future revolves around DJ Lagway being what we hope he can be versus whether or not Arch Manning is the next coming of Christ.
Yeah, and I honestly, Peter, I think I would definitely take Lenora Sellers this year in front of Arch, and I think I probably would take DJ Lagway in front of Arch. Again, sight unseen, but and I've said this a million times, if Arch was that good, he would have been playing this year.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. But I think, too, is the reason why I want Arch to work so well is that it harkens back to the days that we grew up and watched college football, whereas some guy would come in, he was a freshman with red shirt, then he'd play a little bit, and then, boom, you could not wait to see this kid develop and finally play. Like, this was the old, like, ramp-up style for football players when we were growing up. And I think that's huge. I mean, like I said, I think the idea that you throw these guys feet to the fire like a DJ Lagway right off the bat into the toughest conference in college football and say, hey, I want you to be great. I think that's almost unfair to these kids. Same thing with Nico Iamaleava. Even though he had a redshirt season, like, I think that's difficult for these guys.
All right, he is Peter Burns. See him throughout the weekend on the SEC Network as college basketball heats back up in the best college football conference we have ever seen with human eyes. Burnsy, thank you so much for the time. Always fun talking with you.
I appreciate it, boys. And I just can I get Emily's vacation schedule? Can I just EG's? Where is she headed next now? She's going to the Alps.
Yeah,
or is she going to
Banff,
Fiji,
Canada?
Geez,
where all the
she's right next door, right? I mean, she's in the office right now. You'll be happy.
Hey,
to know.
random
She didn't
question.
Come in today
Because you've got Mesquite Creek. Have you had barbecue since you almost choked out?
Yes, I have, in very small morsels.
Okay.
We'll put it that way. Yes. So I have that, but I'm back on the barbecue.
Okay,
train,
good,
boys.
good.
Hey, are y'all going to Nashville?
We'll be up there at some point.
Yeah. We'll be up there.
Some structure of this show, maybe all of it, maybe part of it, but we'll be up there.
But in this state, we don't have to get there till Friday. Our teams don't play till Friday in all likelihood, Peter.
I understand that.
We'll
I will
touch back
I will
later.
have the next round will be live on me whenever you guys make it there on Friday.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Later, boys.
That's Peter Burns on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Yeah, show being brought to you today by our friends at Odie's as well. Live music's part of their 2 locations on Friday nights.
Yeah, great place to go this weekend for live music tonight, tomorrow night. Great food all the time at Odie's, from the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches like that Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light, those huge styrofoam cups, the famous cocktails from Odie's. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. 2 locations for you, the original Crestline, newest location in Edgewood, Birmingham Institution. It's Odie's Tavern.
While we were touched on football here for a second, our digits, was it dollars to digits or digits to dollars?
Digits to dollars.
Digits to dollars question of the day.
Okay.
Or digits $4, however you want to.
Digits $4. The question of the day is, how far out into the future in years are you willing to go, digits for dollars, before the Big 12 or the ACC
wins a national
championship in football?
So, in other words, if it doesn't happen by the year I set, I win money.
And it's almost like name that tune. Who's willing to go out the furthest?
Who will go the furthest?
Yeah. I'm almost willing to say you guys would have to, you wouldn't get a chance to cut my digits off because I'd be cremated in dust in the wind by then.
Well, I mean, I really think there's only 2 teams that can make this happen. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, and it's Clemson or Florida State on a heater. One of those 2.
You got no belief in Miami.
No.
Even without, I mean, I'm not even saying with Cristobal. Like, you don't think there's a coach that could get Miami back to that level?
I don't. Like, Cam Ward, to me, was better than the quarterbacks you had that were winning championships. It was like Ken Dorsey and those guys.
We're talking about a guy that may be the overall number 1 pick, and what did they really do with him, honestly?
Obviously, they're going to get 1 in this year at least into the playoffs. In the future, they'll be guaranteed 2 into the playoffs. But once you get there, you still got to overcome 3 SEC beasts and 3 Big Ten beasts at least.
Now, as soon as I say this, we'll get another Jameis Winston situation, but I would bet a decade. Like, I would feel really good we could go a decade and no ACC or Big 12. Now, I wouldn't put Notre Dame in the mix based on the fact that I saw them play 4-1 this year.
They don't fall into this.
No. It's true ACC Big 12. I left out.
But I was just going to say SEC, Big 10, maybe Notre Dame, but I feel like the next decade you've got those things locked in.
Who even worries you in the Big 12? Like, if you were to make this bet.
Like, I think BYU's going to be really good. BYU gets there, just like Arizona State had a magical 11-win season, but once they got there, they had no shot.
There's nobody that even remotely scares me in the Big 12.
Yeah, Kansas State, any of these teams. No. Yeah, it's just.
I mean, Texas Tech is about to change. Texas Tech, I think, is going to be a fascinating model moving forward. Can you really, with one huge money big booster and some out-of-the-way town that's never really done anything in football, can you build a contender?
No.
You say no.
No, I mean, I think that year in, like, you could have an Arizona State-like year.
Yeah,
I just don't think consistently you're going to be able to do that. I think the only reason we pause with Clemson and Florida State, if you guys agree with me on those 2, is because we've seen them win championships.
That's right. And Dabo's roster is not bad coming into this year, and he's got a returning quarterback.
But again, you got to win so many games now. Like Ryan Day had to grind out 4 wins to win a championship this year. Now, they had a roster built for it. I just don't know if you're ever going to get that. Now, Clemson would definitely be the closest. Like, if we all had to draft one of these teams from ACC or Big 12, we would all go Clemson, right?
Clemson would be
that'd be my number 1 pick.
Number 1, because they've got the infrastructure there. It's so funny that as we get closer to the college football season, there's always these little stories. ESPN has their way too early top 25, but they pick out a defining game on the schedule, and we won't do them all. Go check them out this weekend at some point there. But for all the games that are on your schedule, a defining game, a game that can sort of turn your season up or down.
For Auburn, it starts week 1, I think.
I agree with you.
I really do.
For Auburn, Auburn's not in their way too. Oh, I think they are. Hold on, they're way too early. Top 25.
I'm telling you, we talk about the Northern Illinois loss, but Notre Dame, that win in College Station, it really started to define the season early on.
Yep, it really did.
I mean, it did. We left that game thinking, all right. Well, actually, I left that game thinking that Notre Dame had already punched the ticket to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, when you looked at the rest of their schedule.
And then they lost to Northern Illinois. You're like, they got no shot.
Yeah, they got no shot.
Yeah, Auburn not in the way too early, top 25 from ESPN, so I don't get theirs there. But Baylor would be one. But by the way they look at the way they do these things, I believe they would say Georgia early on, mid-season.
Was that going to be the same for Alabama week 4?
I would. It is for Georgia. For Alabama.
I mean, if Alabama, if they're rolling out of September with wins against Florida State, Wisconsin, and Georgia, I think you feel good about year 2.
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree.
For LSU, it's the opening game again. It's the only reason I brought this story up. Because LSU opens at Clemson.
And they can't win these opening weeks.
And they've played such interesting, tough opening games in recent years. And here they are again with the team we were just talking about in Clemson. That just makes it so fascinating, so interesting.
But really, Jim, that game shouldn't impact you one way or the other.
Yeah, but just
in this world
mentally,
you're in. No, that's what I'm saying. In this world you're in, that game really shouldn't impact you. That's a great opening game. We'll all enjoy watching it. If you're Clemson, you're fine losing that game. If you're LSU, you're fine losing that game.
I think easier to lose for Clemson.
No, that's my point. If you're LSU, it's like, oh my God, here we go again.
We have lost the opener again.
We cannot win these openers, and we've seen what happens to us when we lose these big openers.
It's like if Alabama's down 10-0 to Kentucky to start the game tomorrow. It's like, oh my God, we've got to battle back all afternoon from a 9-0, 12-0 start.
And you saw Brian Kelly after the USC loss, hit the podium. Oh, I forgot what he said, but he was so pissed off.
Why do we keep doing this? Yeah.
Alabama's game is the Tennessee game. Georgia's game is the Alabama game. South Carolina's is the Alabama game on October 25. Just games that they can send your season in either an up or down direction. For Texas, it's not until they play Texas A&M.
Don't you think you want to get Texas and Georgia early? Just, but, Arch, you got to work out whatever. I'm still Gunnar Stockton if he is the guy.
Doesn't Texas open at Ohio State?
Yes.
Is it the season opener or is it week 2?
I thought it was season opener.
I thought it was week 2.
I think it's season opener.
I'll tell you right now, it is the season opener.
Okay.
Yeah, and I believe, obviously one of those powerhouses, maybe 1-2 in the country. In fact, I'll go ahead and call it. That'll be 1 versus 2 to start the season. We'll have 1 versus 2 opening week.
Okay, on the fly, and we can come back to this whenever. Would you take one of the teams that finished in the top 5 because they were the exact same in the AP and the coaches, or anyone else to win the national championship this year? So you've got combination Ohio State, Notre Dame, Oregon, Texas, Penn State, or everyone else. I think I'd definitely take everyone else. Because, we just saw Ryan Day win his first.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw Notre Dame? We've never seen Oregon. When's the last time you saw Penn State?
Was Texas in the top 5?
Yeah, but it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
I think I would take a flyer on the Alabamas and the LSUs outside of that. I don't know, though. It does get a little tight.
Yeah. I would probably take outside of that, but as soon as I do, it ends up being the chalk year where the good teams all win. All right, show brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Tell us about Michelson LT.
Yeah, make that phone call that I made over 2 decades ago. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. Now 2015 vision, better than 2020. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. For more information, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center, and always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com. Payments as low as $129 a month right now with approved credit. They've got a great selection of the travel trailers, the RVs, the toy haulers, the fifth wheels, for every price range, really, right there at Johnston RV. And always, RV warranty forever. Make sure you got a lifetime warranty on everything that is new or qualifying pre-owned. JohnstonRVCenter.com. Trash is next.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken. If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com. Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
Before LT tells you about Hemp Hill, things running hot down at Auburn right now in basketball. Bruce Pearl is on his way to another 25-win season, 25-plus wins. That's 6 in 8 years. Before BP, Auburn had one of those.
It's crazy.
6 in 8 years.
Yeah.
And I saw we didn't
one of them.
One.
You know, they've got so many, and you guys tell me if this stat is right, because as I said it yesterday, and I read it, but I said it on Bama and Bourbon, but then Aaron and I both were like, well, you go to that Final Four run, they beat North Carolina, Kansas, and Kentucky. But I saw that after Auburn beat Alabama this past Saturday, it was their first AP Top 2 win since 1988. They had lost 20 straight.
I mean, but AP top 2, just think about that. I mean, you don't
I'm
play
just,
a lot of those.
No, I get it, but they had lost 20 straight first. And the only thing I could really think of is how one of those teams worked. Now, the number 1 overall seed is who they played in Virginia in the Final Four.
Yeah, but I don't know if they would count those because they don't keep doing the poll once the tournament starts, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think they do, so I think that it would pretty much have to be regular season.
But anyway, it's just another first for the Pearls.
Well, I was talking to somebody yesterday. There's apparently some interest in Andy Kennedy on Florida State's part.
I've heard that.
And I don't know AK's desires. We haven't talked to him about this. We'll see how it plays out.
But if he's offered that job, he's got to go.
I would think, and
not even think about it.
The person I was talking to seemed to think that was the case. But we were talking about, like he was saying, in hindsight, he was coaching in the Tad Pad at Ole Miss. What he did was really, really good. And I was like, absolutely. Andy will never probably get the credit he deserves because Chris Beard is going to make this Ole Miss job better, and you'll forget how bad it is. And I'm like, just like Bruce Pearl has done at Auburn, like that was the worst job in the SEC. Those 2 jobs, Auburn and Ole Miss.
But it is more sustainable at Auburn.
Why?
Because the fan base now wants to fill that place up.
Oh, there's no doubt.
More sustainable at Auburn than where?
Ole Miss. Being successful. Next coach after Chris Beard. I don't think they have the same passion to fill up their arena and make it the atmosphere and the event as Auburn does at Auburn Arena.
Why
Neville
would they
Arena.
not want that, though?
I don't know, but they don't pack it out at the same fever and level they do right now as Auburn has done for the last 5 years.
I know, but of course they don't do that in football either.
Yeah, so I'm just saying Auburn, when Bruce Pearl's time is done, if it's at the end of this year or next, Stephen Pearl, if he takes over, has a better chance of continuing it than anybody who follows Chris Beard at Ole Miss. That's not breaking news. That's just Auburn's a better basketball program now because of Bruce Pearl than Ole Miss.
Yeah, they've certainly
is after Chris Beard.
But the discussion was
but it's so early in Beard's tenure.
Yeah, I just don't know that Beard will stay there as long as Pearl has stayed at Auburn.
Yeah, you're an idiot if you're Indiana and you don't hire him. You're an idiot if North Carolina comes open if you don't go after him. You're an idiot if the Texas Tech guy leaves and goes to Indiana and you don't rehire him at Texas Tech.
No, I agree. I'm just saying.
You're really an idiot if you don't get rid of the guy you got at Texas and hire him back at Texas.
As good as the SEC is right now, I'm just saying if Beard stays as long as Pearl stayed, I think it'll be similar results.
Ooh,
maybe. I mean, Bruce has
Final Four.
Bruce has had some early exits since that Final Four run.
I mean, really, that was the only run he's had.
Other than the Final Four run, he's had early exits.
That's right. So at Auburn, he was good at Tennessee. Could run some deep runs. Show brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. Tell us about Hemp Hill.
If you have any heating, cooling, or plumbing issues in your home or business, our friends at Hemp Hill Services, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Trust and number, Birmingham has trust since 1954 for all of these issues. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
We were talking about the games. I'm just curious if you guys know how far back this goes. Some of the games that would be swing games of college football. In the chat room, we were asked in the mybookie.ag chat room, when was the last time Alabama lost in Athens? Do you guys know how far back that goes?
I think I might have been there. I think it might have been 1994.
I know they did in, I think it was 1976 because it was the day before my granddad died.
Oh, no.
It was a Saturday. We watched it in his hospital bed, and I look back now. I was actually thinking about this this morning for some reason. Weird that you bring this up because I thought to myself, man, here he is on his deathbed, and that whole time we watched Alabama and Georgia play, he was like it was nothing wrong with him. Like you told me he was getting out of the hospital the next day.
So his last Bama game was a loss, though?
Yeah. And we watched in the hospital, and I left thinking to myself that, I mean, he could be coming home tomorrow, and he was just eaten up with cancer and died the next day. And I look back, and I was like, man, well, that was pretty cool of him to gut it out and not moan and not show any signs that anything was wrong with him.
Was it a good game?
Last day. I think
Alabama lost.
It was somewhere in the
76?
early 70s. I think it was 21-0 Alabama.
Yeah, if it was 76, it was 21-0.
Yeah,
that was
21-0.
Yeah.
So 76.
Yeah, Georgia, 21-0 Georgia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, 21-0.
Damn.
Yeah, wow.
Nothing to smile for in that
So
one.
they've lost over there since then. I'm going to say...
I thought it was 94 because I thought it was at that game.
No, 94 was the Jay Barker comeback game at Bryant-Denny.
Okay, well, so the year before or the year after?
No, they won both of those.
Okay.
Their last loss was 2003, which I thought, we're talking 22 years now.
Yeah.
To be fair, Alabama doesn't go to Athens every year, obviously.
Was that the Brandon Avalos?
I think it was, yeah. 37-23.
No, that was not the Brandon Avalos.
No, that was Brody Croyle.
Because the Avalos was a disaster, wasn't it?
Yeah. But anyway, it has been a long time. That was the question. Like, man, Alabama just does not lose a lot in Athens, and they really have not. The last number of times they've gone to Athens, they've done well.
That gets us to trash. It's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Tyler, you got something for us? There you go.
Other than 12 months of me with my shirt off or whatever I'm dressed up as, in a heartbeat, I'll eat those balls all day long. As opposed
I've been
to that.
to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
And we are proud from day one to actually partner up with our friends at Mortgage Right. They are your mortgage experts. It is always buying season, and Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take those next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to their website, mortgageright.com. If you're in Birmingham, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. Where are you guys on the movie The Wolf of Wall Street?
Very well done. It becomes a bit taxing, the language in it. It's just endless F-bombs.
But I do think that was the language
Maybe
that
so.
they
I don't
were
know.
using.
It feels a bit overdone. I think it is absolute peak Margot Robbie. As good as there is.
Oh, have you been to an office in the last few weeks, though, where...
It wasn't to that level, but yes.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great.
Yeah,
more than I thought.
So if you've ever fantasized about living like the infamous Jordan Belfort, played by Leonardo DiCaprio in Scorsese's iconic 2013 epic black comedy crime film, The Wolf of Wall Street, now is your chance to make that dream a reality. The house is actually on the market for a cool $9.5 million. That seems like a value for that house.
Where is it?
It is, I saw this earlier.
It was New Jersey in the movie, right?
Yeah,
Mill Neck, New York.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about 45 minutes from the Hamptons.
From the Hamptons.
Oh, that sounds like an unbelievable deal.
Now, here's the problem.
Yeah.
You do not get Margot Robbie with it.
Yeah, that is an issue. Do you get the security camera footage?
What would the value go up from 9.5 to what?
That's another 9.5 at least.
Especially if you get the Margot Robbie from 2013.
It is peak, right? You agree with me? That's peak Margot Robbie?
That is peak. Now, DiCaprio did win a Golden Globe for Best Actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy back in 2013. Now, for $9.5 million, it's on almost 5 acres in Mill Neck. The exterior of the mansion featured in the film. It comes complete with an entertainment and poker room. This would be great for you guys on Monday night.
That's right. I wouldn't host it, but yes.
Home was built in 2010. High ceilings, brick pizza oven, which I'd love to have one of those. I think I'd cook pizzas all the time if I had a brick
Brownie's
oven.
got one, right?
I've got, it's not a brick oven. It's got stone in it, but it's an outdoor pizza oven.
Do you use it a lot?
I have not used it in a while. I'm just going to be honest with you. Cooking your own pizza is a really big pain. It's one of those things that looks fun and it looks like the kids are going to enjoy it. It ends up being a real pain. It really is. It is so much easier to go get good pizza. I did it once last year.
Is that place still open where you would buy a pizza and take it home and bake it yourself?
I think it is because their overhead has to be like nothing.
Yeah, but I thought it was the dumbest concept. Like, my ass is going to stop and pick up the pizza, but then I got to take it home. Why would I just not pick up a frozen pizza at the grocery store?
So they were telling you it's better than frozen pizza, but I still got to cook it myself.
Back to what Tyler said in terms of location, 50 minutes outside of Manhattan, 45 from the Hamptons. Now, this isn't the first time it's been listed. They listed it for 14.5 back in 15, but it has come all the way back down to 9.5. And it looks like a nice place.
I would describe that as opulent.
Yep.
A lot of space.
Quite a stovetop.
Yeah. That's where Jonah almost choked out, right?
He's the best actor, the best role in that movie.
Oh, I
Jonah
agree.
Hill. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
He was absolutely
He was
incredible.
terrific in that movie. I will never forget when he shows him the note that's like, "Don't say anything. I'm wearing a wire." And Jonah Hill just absolutely freezes. You can see the panic in his face. It's so good.
A Polk County woman accused of attacking a man with a garden hoe after the two were planning to, quote, hang out earlier in the evening. Now, County Sheriff's Office say Melanie Davis, 47. She was unhappy that the victim had canceled plans, so she went to his home around 3 a.m. on Tuesday and started yelling at him from outside. Investigators say she then climbed the fence at his property, pushed through the door before punching him. That's when she allegedly grabbed the garden hoe and began hitting him with it, causing a serious laceration to his arm.
I bet.
The victim was taken to the hospital, treated. Davis was taken to county jail.
Yeah. Garden hoe is a snake killer for me. That's my object of choice when there's a snake crawling in the yard that I don't want.
Got a little Margot Martindale in her?
Oh, yeah. Good bit actor.
The Melanie Davis I know doesn't look like that.
Oh,
do you know a Melanie Davis?
Didn't she work with one of the organizations we help out?
That is her first name.
Yeah.
Not her last name?
No.
Close.
So you got half of it. The hoe seemed like a very inefficient tool to me when I was growing up. I've never owned a hoe as an adult, but as a kid, I think my parents had one.
Never saw somebody in the arena.
Cut that out for
the
trash
Coliseum
open.
for Gladiator. Right?
I got you.
What was the trash open?
I've never owned a hoe.
I've never owned a hoe, Tyler.
9.5.
Ironically,
You can have a
renting?
mansion that a hoe lived in.
Yes.
So we've got a Peoria man accused of robbing a Subway restaurant while armed with a butcher knife. Court documents reveal all he got was a sandwich.
At least he got something.
Now, a grand jury on Tuesday indicted Mohammed Saeed, 28, with armed robbery. Class X felony carrying a mandatory prison term of between 6 and 30 years if he's found guilty. Now, this happened January 28th at a Subway. February 10th, the judge granted the state's petition to keep Saeed in jail before his trial. Indictment means the grand jury found enough evidence to hold him over the trial. Saeed's arraignment is scheduled for March 6th. I mean, to rob and get one sandwich, and you have to get at least 6 years?
Also, it's not in the story, but the place he robbed for the sandwich was a Subway. So not only did he only walk away with a sandwich, he walked away with probably the worst sandwich you could steal.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, Subway's okay.
I'll take Uncrustables before Subway, but I like
had one last
Uncrustables.
night. Now, if I'm on the way to the beach, sometimes Subway's the only place you can get.
Yeah.
But where he's going, it's going to be a place that actually smells better in their bread. Or doesn't smell better in their bread.
I like the smell of their
Oh,
bread.
I don't.
You don't?
I think it smells like
wet feet.
off feet a little bit.
Wet feet. Both of you wet feet.
Yeah. Like I've eaten there before, and like an hour later, I'm driving in my car, and I'm like, man, I still smell like that.
Oh, yeah.
Very
That is
weird.
one of those places, if you go in, you end up smelling like it. Like a coffee shop.
So there is a cake bandit in the metro. She is reported to have 4 legs. Big fan of chocolate cake. This opossum cake bandit stole the hearts of people around the globe.
So do you drop opossum or do you just go possum?
I usually go possum,
I
but
usually go possum.
it's you know.
But isn't it opossum, not opossum?
Anyway, I don't usually go O with the O at the beginning.
It's in here, so I normally, if I'm writing it down, I just write possum, but it's got the O, so I went with it. They need to tighten his whiskers up a little bit.
You think he needs to shave?
Yeah, I mean, they just need to cut him or something. Damn, man, he's all over the place.
It's an opossum. I don't think he's real
But
worried
look at
about
those
his look.
black ones shooting straight out of his face.
Oh, I know. I mean, they're not good-looking animals.
Got to groom that thing.
Yeah.
It's a pet possum?
I think he's messing with me, and nope, the possum curled up on the sectional couch. We had just gotten it, according to Kim Doggett. It was new to us. It's white, kind of like a lighter color, and there's all of these chocolate possum footprints all over it. Now, those chocolate footprints coming from this Costco tuxedo cake. She went on to say, quote, a look on the ground. He had knocked the Costco cake on the ground, ate most of it. Sounds like a Chilean bullet move. After a few unsuccessful attempts to move the possum, Doggett noticed that something was wrong. Quote, we noticed it was kind of under distress, so a little bit of panting, not moving, kind of hissing a little bit. That's when they called the Nebraska Humane Society. Animal Control showed up shortly after, was able to successfully remove the possum, get it checked into a Nebraska wildlife rehab with a note that the possum was brought in due to having eaten an entire Costco chocolate cake. From there, the Possum Cake Bandit was born, taking the internet and the world by storm, amassing over 17,000 reactions and counting on social media. I mean, wouldn't you just throw it out back? I mean, it's a damn possum.
It's a pet.
Why do you want to have it as a pet? I don't understand.
They're mean.
You know, people like to keep everything as pets. There's people who keep raccoons as pets.
I know.
You go up to one of these, they hiss at you.
Yeah,
they want to bite
they're
you.
ill-tempered animals.
Yeah.
Possums are.
Yep.
I was recently reading about Magellan's journey to find the trade routes to the Far East. Some of the stuff.
Is this for leisure? Or?
It's a fascinating story. Have y'all ever read about Magellan?
I have not.
Circumnavigated the globe.
We studied him with the explorers back in social studies in fourth grade.
He didn't make it to the finish line, but his one boat did, Tyler. One boat finally made it back.
Oh, only one boat.
Only one boat. 5 left. One made it back.
What got Magellan? Yellow fever?
Most of them died of scurvy. I don't know what got Magellan. He stopped in the Philippines for a little stopover, and he passed in the Philippines, I think it was. But just some of the
syphilis
stuff.
then.
Could have been, yes. Some of the stuff those old boys had to eat just to stay alive.
At the age of 41, Magellan died after getting shot in his leg with a poison arrow.
There you go. That'll get you every single time.
So surprisingly not scurvy.
Yes.
It did not have that one.
Well, scurvy got the old boys on the boat because they didn't have any food to eat. And that's what gets you
no oranges.
Yeah, that's what gets you scurvy. Vitamin C, yeah. But some of the stuff they had to eat because they kept pretty good diaries, when they were on the islands just trying to survive. I just wonder, because I was looking at that possum and it made me think, if you were about to die, would you eat a possum?
I mean, if you were able to barbecue it or fry it.
I mean, you're going to have to cook that thing a long time.
And then I'm going to have to dip it in, all kinds of sauce. Like that Polynesian sauce might.
I mean, what the hell are you
cut
stranded?
it a little bit.
Like at a Ruby Tuesdays or Buffalo Wild Wings?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you got to put that thing on a spit.
I got to fry it or cook it a lot. I got to dip it in some stuff.
I got Lance stranded fighting for his life, and he's only going to eat a possum if he can dip it in Polynesian sauce.
One or two here. You've got to eat that.
You're not stranded at Chick-fil-A.
You got to eat that whole possum, or you got to use its paw as a keychain for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Would you rather have the paw keychain?
Yeah, I'd go keychain in a heartbeat there.
So.
Yeah. I mean, if that is my food source at that point, I think it's time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's God telling you the time. The day is yours, right? Yeah, it's your day.
I still can't get over the whiskers.
It's rough.
And the ones going north and south kill me, man. That's all I got.
That is Trash, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
If you are looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right, here to help. Veteran founded right here in Birmingham. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com, 205-900-7200.
And if you're hungry now after all the possum talk, our friends at Champy's Chicken, there for you for lunch or dinner to watch the games this weekend. You can go watch them in there. Maybe you just want a good happy hour after work every day. They've got that at champyschicken.com as well. Easy pickup to go window. You can go online to champyschicken.com and check it out. The great locations there. Sterling and the crew with the Mississippi Delta recipe, tamales, and so much more. Go check it out. champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. All right. On the eve of our, let's see, there's 2 more Saturdays after this in the SEC regular season. So this long winding road is winding down. But in all of college basketball, SEC included, what are we overreacting to right now? What are the biggest overreactions in college basketball as we speak?
I mean, I hate to say this, and we just discussed it some with Peter Burns, but probably the overall quality of the SEC.
Yep.
You think we're overreacting?
Well, yeah, just because I don't think it's going to play out that way in the NCAA tournament, and that's really how you judge how good a conference is, right?
And maybe it will. Going back to Big East, when they got 11 teams in, it didn't play out. Only one team made it past the Sweet 16, so I kind of agree with that. On the sidebar of that is, outside of Duke, is there a team outside of the SEC that can win a national championship?
Yeah, because of Duke and everybody else. So let's do first, you're talking about the strength of the SEC.
Uh-huh.
On the new basketball show, which dropped this morning, we were talking about SEC bubble teams, and I have a feeling we're starting to settle in that the SEC is just going to tie the Big East record. I'm starting to feel 11. I'm starting to feel 11.
Well, that's the way it should be, because some of these teams that we're talking about getting in should not be getting in.
Because if Texas drops it tomorrow at South Carolina, which is, I think, possibility, that's a bad loss for them.
Is that a quad 2 loss done away?
Yeah, and if Vandy doesn't get a win tomorrow at home against Ole Miss, they're on the clock as a bubble team. I think Oklahoma and Georgia are already too far gone. LSU and South Carolina.
And Arkansas needs that win against Missouri. Like, they've got to win one of these games.
Yeah, so
if Arkansas loses tomorrow, and I think they're going to be a slight favorite, They fall to 4-10 in conference, 15-12 overall. That's not a tournament team.
So to me, I'm starting to lean towards 11, not that record-breaking 12 or the 13, which we've looked at in all the projections all along. We got our new Lunardi I'll tell you about here in a second.
Okay, real quick, back to Texas, Dunaway. That would be a quad 2 loss because South Carolina is in the 90s. So they would now be 3-3 in quad 2, 4-8 in quad 1. So they often put the quad 1, quad 2 together. So you're going to be, 7-11? I don't know, man. That does not feel like a conference or national champion or NCAA tournament team to me. 7-11 in quad 1 and 2.
Last 4 byes right now, Texas is there, the best team. So there are 3 other spots below them, West Virginia, San Diego State, Nebraska, that have byes in the tournament. Last 4 in right now, Vanderbilt, then VCU, Wake Forest, and Arkansas. Arkansas's in as we sit here right now, according to Lunardi.
That's crazy.
First team out right now, Oklahoma. Next team out is SMU, then Georgia, then North Carolina. So North Carolina is behind Georgia, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Vandy, Texas.
All right.
From the SEC.
So Oklahoma's first team out. Here's who they've got left. They got to find something, right, if they're first team out. They play State at home. I mean, does that get you
a top 25 win?
Yeah, and then they play Kentucky at home. They've got their chance. If they'll win these next 2, State and Kentucky, that might just be enough for them. Then they're at Ole Miss, host Missouri, at Texas. They've got 3 home games against teams that are in the tournament left, State, Kentucky, and Missouri. That cuts both ways, by the way.
Yeah.
Those are all hard games to win.
They need some wins.
Yeah.
No shock in Lunardi's latest bracketology. Auburn's the overall number 1 seed. Again, they would have to lose a couple of them before they even start talking about losing the number 1 overall seed. Florida is the 4th 1 seed. Duke is the 3rd 1 seed. Alabama hasn't moved off the 2 line even after another loss, according to Lunardi.
That's interesting because he said
the 1 line as the 2 overall seed.
Right. He said the outcome of the Auburn-Alabama game would not impact Alabama in a negative way, but it is interesting that even the outcome of the Missouri game didn't impact them.
Yeah, I do think, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, Auburn, Florida, Duke, Houston win this week. Alabama loses. Alabama's on the 2 line.
Very much could be a possibility. Tennessee is the 5th overall seed right now. The 6th overall seed is Houston. They're charging Wisconsin 7, Iowa State 8. Iowa State and Houston play each other this weekend. On the 3 line, in this order, you have A&M, you have Kentucky, you have Arizona and Texas Tech, and then you have Purdue, Michigan State, Michigan, and St. John's. Michigan State and Michigan play tonight. Still no Missouri in the top 16. They are the first team not in a 4 seed or better. They're at 17 overall.
So Missouri's a 5 seed?
Yeah, the best 5 seed right now.
Yeah, if Missouri wins this weekend against Arkansas, I mean, they're going to be borderline top 10 team overall.
But here's the problem. You're going to fall in love with Missouri as a 5, and they're going to be in that dreaded 5-12 game, right?
Yeah, Mississippi State is up to a 5 seed as well.
Yeah. So you'll fall in love with one of those 2, and there they are in that 5-12 game.
Yeah. So interesting where the bubble is now for the SEC. Texas, the best last 4 byes. Vanderbilt is one of the last 4 in. So too is Arkansas. They're the last team in. Oklahoma's the first team out. And Georgia, not as far away as I thought they would be. So desperate Georgia at Auburn tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Taylor will be there. I'll be in Tuscaloosa for the big Kentucky-Alabama game, video platforms for post-game reaction. That's our show today. We're back with you on this show, this platform, all our audio and video platforms on Monday at 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.